Blessed love and peace, Rastafari. This is a recitation of Tobadiko Kedao, Torah, Bhagavad Gita, Digha Nikaya, Dhammapada, Gospels, Quran, and Tao Te Ching. This is portion numero 38, which is Korach. That includes from Torah, Parsha Korach, which is Bimidbar 16:1 a 18:32. From the Chandogya Upanishad, it is Kanda 7:16 a 26. From the Bhagavad Gita, it is the Sankhya Yogehe numero 2. From the Tao Te Ching, it is chapters 48 and 49. From Menke, it is chapter 18. From the Digha Nikaya, it is the Patika Sutta 24, chapter 1. From the Dhammapada, it is the Jara Vaga numero 11. From the Gospels, it is John chapters 7 a 8. From the Quran, it is Surah Muhammad, Surah Fatah, Surah Al-Hujurat, and Surah Kaf, which are surahs 47 a 50. And from Sunjata of West Africa, it is episodes 1 a 10. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah Wabha. Dao ke dao fe chung dao. Min ke min fe chung min. Ja Rastafari. Deus nos te qui es in cele santificita nomen tuum. Vaheguru sanam. Baruch ata Elohim Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei peri Amen. Baruch ata Elohim Eloheinu melech haolam asher ketzanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'sok b'divrai Torah. Amen. Kyrie eleison. Siva mastu savajikatehi sabe sata bhavantu sukhidata. Fagabia. Aquaba upendo na amani. Vikiri nesinami. Chinta dam pramian. Libo vamir. Womanjika. Ubuntu shabana fakithka. Shishin. Kamo Sanita, Domo Arigato, Pilama Yellow Walker Toko Dokashin, Go Malagan. God, we thank you for all that you bless us. Ata Jamya Yata Afanami. Badom, Ahom, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Amen. Torah. Korach Bemidbar 16:1 a 18:32. Korach, the son of Izar, the son of Kohat, the son of Levi, took himself to one side along with Datan and Aviram, the sons of Eliav, and On, the son of Pelet, descendants of Reuven. They confronted Moshe together with 250 men from the children of Israel, chieftains of the congregation, representatives of the assembly, men of repute. They assembled against Moshe and Aaron and said to them, "You take too much upon yourselves, for the entire congregation are all holy, and Elohim is in their midst. So why do you raise yourselves above Elohim's assembly?" Moshe heard and fell on his face. He spoke to Korach and to all his company, saying, "In the matin Elohim will make known who is Elohim's and who is holy, and Elohim will draw them near to Elohim, and the one Elohim chooses, Elohim will draw near to Elohim. Do this, Korach and his company. Take for yourself censers, place fire into them, and put incense upon them before Elohim Manyana. And the man whom Elohim chooses, he is the Holy One. You have taken too much upon yourselves, sons of Levi." Moshe said to Korach, "Please listen, sons of Levi. Is it not enough that Elohim of Israel has distinguished you from the congregation of Israel to draw you near to Elohim, to perform the service in the Mishkan of Elohim, and to stand before the congregation to minister to them? Elohim drew you near, and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you, and now you seek the kahuna as well. Therefore you and your entire company who are assembled are against Elohim, for what is Aaron that you should complain against him?" Moshe sent to call Datan and Aviram, the sons of Eliav, but they said, "We will not go up. Is it not enough that you have brought us out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the desert, that you should also exercise authority over us?" You have not even brought us to a land flowing with milk and honey, nor have you given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Even if you gouge out the eyes of those men, we will not go up." Moshe was exceedingly distressed, and he said to Elohim, "Do not accept their offering. I have not taken a donkey from a single one of them, and I have not harmed a single one of them." Moshe said to Korach, "You and your entire congregation should be before Elohim, you, they, and Aaron Manyana. Let each man take his censer and place incense upon it, and let each man present his censer before Elohim. There will thus be 250 censers, and let you and Aaron each take his censer." So each man took his censer, and they put fire upon it, and placed incense upon it, and they stood at the entrance to the tent of meeting with Moshe and Aaron. Korach assembled all the congregation against them at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and the glory of Elohim appeared before the entire congregation. Elohim spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, "Disassociate yourselves from this congregation, and I will consume them in an instant." They fell on their faces and said, "O Elohim, the Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, if one man sins, shall you be angry with the whole congregation?" Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the congregation, saying, withdraw from the dwelling of Korach, Datan, and Aviram." Moshe arose and went to Datan and Aviram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He spoke to the congregation, saying, "Please get away from the tents of these wicked men, and do not touch anything of theirs, lest you perish because of all their sins." So they withdrew from around the dwelling of Korach, Datan, and Aviram, and Datan and Aviram went out standing upright at the entrance of their tents, together with their wives, their children, and their infants. Moshe said, "With this you shall know that Elohim sent me to do all these deeds, for I did not devise them myself. If these men die as all men die, and the fate of all men will be visited upon them, then Elohim has not sent me. But if Elohim creates a creation, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them and all that is theirs, and they descend alive into the grave, you will know that these men have provoked Elohim." As soon as he finished speaking all these words, the earth beneath them split open. The earth beneath them opened its mouth and swallowed them and their houses, and all the men who were with Korach, and all the property. They and all they possessed descended alive into the grave. The earth covered them up, and they were lost to the assembly. All Israel who were around them fled from their cries, for they said, "Lest the earth swallow us up too." A fire came forth from Elohim and consumed the 250 men who had offered up the incense. Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, "Say to Eleazar the son of Aaron the Kohen that he should pick up the censers from the burned area, but throw the fire away, because they have become sanctified. The censers of these who sinned at the cost of their lives, and they shall make them into flattened out plates as an overlay for the altar. For they brought them before Elohim, and have therefore become sanctified, and they shall be as a reminder for the children of Israel." So Eleazar the Kohen took the copper censers which the fire victims had brought, and they hammered them out as an overlay for the altar, as a reminder for the children of Israel, so that no outsider who is not of the seed of Aaron shall approach to burn incense before Elohim, so as not to be like Korach and his company, as Elohim spoke regarding him through the hand of Moshe. The following day the entire congregation of Israel complained against Moshe and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the people of Elohim." It came to pass, whilst the congregation were assembled against Moshe and Aaron, that they turned to the tent of meeting, and behold, the cloud had covered it, and the glory of Elohim appeared. Moshe and Aaron came to the front of the tent of meeting. Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, "Stand aside from this congregation, and I shall consume them in an instant." They fell on their faces. Moshe said to Aaron, "Take the censer and put fire from the altar top into it, and put incense. Then take it quickly to the congregation and atone for them, for wrath has gone forth from Elohim, and the plague has begun." Aaron took it just as Moshe had said, and he ran into the midst of the assembly, and behold, the plague had begun amongst the people. He placed the incense on it and atoned for the people. He stood between the dead and the living, and the plague ceased. The number of dead in the plague was 14,700, besides those who died because of the matter of Korach. Aaron returned to Moshe at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and the plague was checked. Elohim said to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, and take from them a staff for each far's house, from all the chieftains according to their far's houses, a total of 12 staffs, and inscribe each man's name on his staff. Inscribe Aaron's name on the staff of Levi, for there is only one staff for the head of their far's house. You shall place the staffs in the tent of meeting before the ark of the testimony, where I commune with you. The staff of the man whom I will choose will blossom, and I will calm down, turning away from myself the complaints of the children of Israel, which they are complaining against you." Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and all their chieftains gave him a staff for each chieftain. according to their fathers' houses, a total of 12 staffs, and Aaron's staff was amidst their staffs. Moshe placed the staffs before Elohim in the tent of the testimony. And on the following day Moshe came to the tent of testimony, and behold, Aaron's staff for the house of Levi had blossomed. It gave forth blossoms, sprouted buds, and produced ripe almonds. Moshe took out all the staffs from before Elohim to the children of Israel. They saw, and they took each man his staff. Elohim said to Moshe, put Aaron's staff back in front of the testimony as a keepsake and a sign for rebellious ones. Then their complaints against me will end, and they will not die. Moshe did so. He did just as Elohim had commanded him. The children of Israel spoke to Moshe, saying, behold, we are dying, we will perish, we are all lost. Whoever comes the closest to the Mishkan of Elohim dies. Have we been consigned to die? Elohim said to Aaron, you, your sons, and your father's house shall bear the iniquity associated with the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity associated with your kahuna. Also your brethren, the tribe of Levi, your father's tribe, draw close to you, and they shall join you and minister to you, and you and your sons with you before the tent of testimony. They shall keep your charge and the charge of the tent, and they shall not approach the holy vessels or the altar, so that neither they nor you will die. They shall join you, and they shall keep the charge of the tent of meeting for all the service of the tent, and no outsider shall come near you. They shall keep the charge of the sanctuary and the charge of the altar, so that there be no further wrath against the children of Israel. I have therefore taken your brethren the Levites from amongst the children of Israel. They are given to you as a gift, and given over to Elohim to perform the service in the tent of meeting. You and your sons shall keep your kahuna in all matters concerning the altar, and concerning what is within the dividing curtain, and you shall serve the service as a gift. I have given your kahuna, and any outsider non-Kohen who approaches shall die. Elohim told Aaron, behold, I have given you the charge of my gift offerings. I have thus given you all the holy things of the children of Israel for distinction, and as an eternal portion for your sons. These shall be yours from the holiest of holies, from the fire. All their offerings, their meal offerings, their sin offerings, their guilt offerings, and what they return to me, they shall be holy of holies to you and to your sons. You shall eat it in the holiest of places. Any male may eat of it. It shall be holy to you. This shall be yours, what is set aside for the gifts from all the wavings of the children of Israel. I have given them to you and to your sons and to your daughters with you as an eternal portion. Any ritually clean member of your household may eat it. The choice of the oil and the choice of the wine and grain, the first of which they give to Elohim to you, I have given them. The first fruit of all that grows in their hand, which they shall bring to Elohim, shall be yours. Any ritually clean member of your household may eat of it. Any devoted thing in Israel shall be yours. Every issue of the womb of any creature which they present to Elohim, whether of man or beast, shall be yours. However, you shall redeem the firstborn of man, and the firstborn of unclean animals shall you redeem. Its redemption shall be performed from the age of a month, according to the valuation, 5 shekels of silver, according to the holy shekel, which is 20 gerahs. However, a firstborn ox or a firstborn sheep or a firstborn goat shall not be redeemed, for they are holy. Their blood shall be sprinkled on the altar, and their fats shall be burned as a fire offering, as a pleasing fragrance to Elohim. Their flesh shall be yours, like the breast of the waving and the right thigh, it shall be yours. All the gifts of the holy offerings, which are set aside by the children of Israel for Elohim, I have given to you and to your sons and daughters with you as an eternal portion. It is like an eternal covenant of salt between Elohim for you and your descendants with you. Elohim said to Aaron, you shall not inherit in their land, and you shall have no portion amongst them. I am your inheritance and portion amongst the children of Israel. And to the descendants of Levi, I have given all tithes of Israel as an inheritance in exchange for their service which they perform, the service of the tent of meeting. The children of Israel shall therefore no longer approach the tent of meeting, lest they bear sin and die. The Levites shall perform the service of the tent of meeting, and they will bear their iniquity. It is an eternal statute for your generations, but amongst the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. For the tithes of the children of Israel, which they shall set aside for Elohim as a gift, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. Thus I have said to them that they shall have no inheritance amongst the children of Israel. Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the Levites, and tell them, when you take the tithe from the children of Israel, which I have given you from them as your inheritance, you shall set aside from it a gift for Elohim, a tithe of a tithe. Your gift shall be considered for you as grain from the threshing floor, and as the produce of the vat. So shall you too set aside a gift for Elohim from all the tithes you take from the children of Israel, and you shall give thereof Elohim's gift to Aaron the priest. From all your gifts you shall set aside every gift of Elohim from its choicest portion, that part of it which is to be consecrated. Say to them, when you separate its choicest part, it shall be considered for the Levites as produce from the threshing floor, and as produce from the vat. You and your household may eat it anywhere, for it is your wage for you, in exchange for your service in the tent of meeting. After you separate the choicest part from it, you shall not bear any sin on account of it, but you shall not profane the sacred offerings of the children of Israel, so that you shall not die. Chandogya Upanishad 7:16 a 26. But in reality, he is an Ativadi who has become an Ativadi by the knowledge of the true. May I, Venerable Sir, become an Ativadi by the knowledge of the true. But one should desire to know the true. Venerable Sir, I desire to know the true. Sanam Kumara says, when one understands the true, only then does one declare the true. One who does not understand the true does not declare it. Only one who understands it declares the true. One must desire to understand this understanding. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand. When one reflects, only then does one understand. One who does not reflect does not understand. Only one who reflects understands. One must desire to understand this reflection. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand reflection. When one has faith, only then does one reflect. One who does not have faith does not reflect. Only one who has faith reflects. One must desire to understand faith. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand faith. When one is single-minded in one's devotion to the teacher, only then does one have faith. One who does not have single-mindedness does not have faith. Only one who has single-mindedness has faith. One must desire to understand single-mindedness. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand single-mindedness. When one performs one's duties, practices concentration, only then does one have single-mindedness. When one does not perform his duties, does not have single-mindedness. When one does not perform his duties, one who does not perform his duties does not have single-mindedness. Only one who performs his duties has single-mindedness. One must desire to understand the performance of duties. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand the performance of duties. When one obtains bliss, only then does one perform one's duties. One who does not obtain bliss does not perform his duties. Only one who obtains bliss performs his duties. One must desire to understand bliss. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand bliss. The infinite is bliss. There is no bliss in anything finite. Only the infinite is bliss. One must desire to understand the infinite. Venerable Sir, I desire to understand the infinite. Where one sees nothing else, hears nothing else, understands nothing else, that is the infinite. Where one sees something, hears something else, understands something else, that is the finite. The infinite is eternally living. The finite is temporal. Venerable Sir, in what does the infinite find its support? In its own greatness, or not even in greatness? Here on earth, people describe cows and horses, elephants and gold, slaves and wives, fields and houses as greatness. I do not mean this, he said. For in such cases one thing finds its support in another. But what I say is, that infinite indeed is below, it is above, it is behind, it is before, it is to the south, it is to the north, it is the infinite indeed is all this. Next follows the instruction about the infinite with reference to I. I indeed am below, I am above, I am behind, I am before, I am to the south, I am to the north, I am indeed all this. Next follows the instruction about the infinite with reference to the self. The self indeed is below, it is above, it is behind, it is before, it is to the south, it is to the north. The self indeed is all this. Verily, he who sees this, reflects on this, and understands this, delights in the self, sports with the self, rejoices in the self, revels in the self. Even whilst living in the body, he becomes a self-ruler. He wields unlimited freedom in all the worlds. But those who think differently from this have others for their rulers. They live in perishable worlds. They have no freedom in all the worlds. For him who sees this, reflects on this, and understands this, the prana springs from the self, hope springs from the self, memory springs from the self, the akasha springs from the self, fire springs from the self, water springs from the self, appearance and disappearance spring from the self, food springs from the self, Strength springs from the self. Understanding springs from the self. Meditation springs from the self. Consideration springs from the self. Will springs from the self. Mind springs from the self. Speech springs from the self. The name springs from the self. The sacred hymns spring from the self. The offerings spring from the self. All this springs from the self. On this there is the following verse. The knower of truth does not see death or disease or sorrow. The knower of truth sees everything and obtains everything everywhere. He, the knower, is one before the creation. Becomes 3, becomes 5, becomes 7, becomes 9. Then again he is called 11, 110, and 1020. Now is described the disciple for inner purification by which self-knowledge is attained. When the food is pure, the mind becomes pure. When the mind is pure, the memory becomes pure. The memory becomes firm. When the memory is firm, all ties are loosened. The venerable son of Korach showed Narada, after his blemishes had been wiped out, the other side of darkness. They call Sanat Kumara Skanda, yea, Skanda, they call him. Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yogehe, numero 2. Sanjaya says, to Arjuna, who was thus overwhelmed with pity and whose troubled eyes were filled with tears, Madhusudana spoke these words. Sri Krishna says, in this crisis, O Arjuna, whence comes such lowliness of spirit, unbecoming to an Aryan, dishonorable and an obstacle to the attainment of heaven? Do not yield to unmanliness, O son of Prita. It does not become you. Shake off this base faint-heartedness and rise, O scorcher of enemies. Arjuna says, but how, O destroyer of Madhu, O slayer of enemies, can I fight with arrows on the battlefield against Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my honor? It would be better indeed to live on alms in this world rather than to slay these high-souled teachers. But if I kill them, even here I shall enjoy wealth and desire stained with their blood. We do not know which would be the better for us, that we should conquer them or they should conquer us. Arrayed against us stand the very sons of Dhritarashtra, after slaying whom we should not wish to live. Overpowered in the very essence of my being by this evil of commiseration, by my mind confused about Dharma, I supplicate to you, tell me in sooth which is the better. I am your disciple, instruct me, who have taken refuge in you. Indeed, I see not to destroy the grief that is drying up my very senses, even the attainment of unrivaled and flourishing dominion on earth and mastership over the angels in heaven. Sanjaya says, having spoken thus to Rishikesa, Arjuna, scorcher of foes, said to Govinda, I will not fight, and fell silent. O descendant of Bharata, to him grieving in the midst of the two armies, Rishikesa, smiling, spoke these words. Sri Krishna says, you have been grieving for those who should not be grieved for, yet you speak words of wisdom. Neither for the living nor for the dead do the wise grieve. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you nor these kings of men. Never will there be a time hereafter when any of us shall cease to be. Even as the embodied self passes in this body through the stages of childhood, youth, and old age, so does it pass into another body. Calm souls are not bewildered by this. Notions of heat and cold, of pain and pleasure arise, O son of Kunti, only from contact of the senses with their objects. They come and go. They are impermanent. Endure them, O Bharata. That calm man who remains unchanged in pain and pleasure, whom these cannot disturb, alone is able, O greatest of men, to attain eternal life. The unreal never is, the real never ceases to be. The conclusion about these two is truly perceived by the seers of truth. That by which all this is pervaded, know to be imperishable. None can cause the destruction of that which is immutable. Only the bodies of which this eternal, imperishable, incomprehensible self is the indweller are said to have an end. Fight, therefore, O Bharata. He who looks on the self as the slayer, and he who looks on the self as the slain, neither of these apprehends aright. The self slays not, nor is slain. It is never born, nor does it ever die, nor having once been, does it again cease to be. Unborn, eternal, permanent, and primeval, it is not slain when the body is slain. He who knows the self to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable, how can that man, O son of Prita, slay or cause another to slay? Even as a person casts off worn-out clothes and puts on others that are new, so the embodied self casts off worn-out bodies and enters into others that are new. Weapons cut it not, fire burns it not, water wets it not, the wind does not wither it. The self cannot be cut, nor burnt, nor wetted, nor withered. Eternal, all-pervading, unchanging, immovable, the self is the same forever. The self is said to be unmanifest, incomprehensible, and unchangeable. Therefore, know it to be so. Knowing it to be so, you should not grieve. But if you think the self repeatedly comes into being and dies, even then, Almighty One, you should not grieve for it. For to that which is born, death is certain, and to that which is dead, birth is certain. Therefore you should not grieve over the unavoidable. All beings are unmanifest in their beginning, O Bharata, manifest in their middle state, and unmanifest again in their end. Why then lament for them? Some look on the self as a wonder, some speak of it as a wonder, some hear of it as a wonder. Still others, though hearing, do not understand it at all. The self which dwells in all bodies can never be slain, O Bharata, wherefore you should not grieve for any creature. Considering also your own dharma, you should not waver, for to a Kshatriya nothing is better than a righteous war. Happy indeed are the Kshatriyas, O Parta, to whom comes such a war, offering itself unsought, opening the gate to heaven. But if you refuse to wage this righteous war, then renouncing your own dharma and honor, you will certainly incur sin. People too will recount forever your infamy, and to a man who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. The great warriors will think you have withdrawn from the battle through fear, and you will go down in the esteem of those who have thought much of you. Your enemies will speak many a word that should not be uttered, scorning your prowess. Could anything be further bitter than that? If you are killed in the battle, you will go to heaven. If you win, you will gain the earth. Therefore arise, O son of Kunti, resolve to fight. Regarding alike pleasure and pain, gain and loss, success and defeat, prepare yourself for battle. Thus you will incur no sin. What has been declared to you in the wisdom of Sankhya, now listen to the wisdom of Yoga, armed with which, O son of Prita, you will break through the bonds of karma. In this no effort is ever lost, and no harm is ever done. Even very little of this dharma saves a man from the great fear. In this, O scion of Kuru, there is only one resolute and unwavering thought, but the thoughts of the irresolute are many-branched and unending. O Partha, no resolute and unwavering thought is formed in the minds of those who are deeply attached to pleasure and power, who allow their discrimination to be stolen away by the flowery words of the unwise, who permit their souls to be ridden with desire, who regard the attainment of heaven as the highest goal, and who take great delight in quoting the panegyric texts of the Vedas, and declare that besides these there is nothing. These texts promise rebirth as the reward of their action, and lay down specific rites for the attainment of pleasure and power. The Vedas deal with the three gunas. Be free, O Arjuna, from the three gunas. Be free from the pairs of opposites. Be always established in sattva. Do not try to acquire what you lack or preserve what you have. Be established in the self. To the enlightened Brahmin, all the Vedas are of as much use as a pond when there is everywhere a flood. To work alone, you are entitled never to its fruit. Neither let your motive be the fruit of action, nor let your attachment be to non-action. Being established in yoga, O Dhananjaya, perform your actions, casting off attachment and remaining even-minded both in success and in failure. This evenness is called yoga. Much inferior indeed is mere action, O Dhananjaya, to action performed with evenness of mind. Seek refuge in this evenness. Wretched are they who work for results. Endued with evenness of mind, one casts off in this very life both benevolent deeds and evil deeds. Therefore strive for yoga. Yoga is skill in action. The wise of even mind renounce the fruit of action. Freed from the fetters of birth, they attain the state that is beyond all evil. When your mind has crossed the slough of delusion, you will achieve indifference regarding things already heard and things yet to be heard. When your mind, now perplexed by what you have heard, stands firm and steady in the self, then you will have attained yoga. Arjuna says, what, O Kesava, is the description of the man of steady wisdom merged in samadhi? How does the man of steady wisdom speak? How sit? How move? Sri Krishna says, O Partha, when a man completely casts off all the desires of the mind, his self finding satisfaction in itself alone, then he is called a man of steady wisdom. He who is not perturbed by adversity, who does not long for happiness, who is free from attachment, fear, and wrath, is called a Muni of steady wisdom. He who is not attached to anything neither rejoices nor is vexed when he obtains benevolence or evil, his wisdom is firmly fixed. When he completely withdraws the senses from their objects as a tortoise draws in its limbs, then his wisdom is firmly fixed. The objects of the senses fall away from a man practicing abstinence, but not the taste for them. But even the taste falls away from the Supreme when the Supreme is seen. The turbulent senses, O son of Kunti, violently carry off the mind, even of a wise man striving for perfection. The yogi restrains them all and remains intent on me. His wisdom is steady, whose senses are under control. When a man dwells on objects, he feels an attachment for them. Attachment gives rise to desire, and desire breeds anger. From anger comes delusion. From delusion, the failure of memory. From the failure of memory, the ruin of discrimination. And from the ruin of discrimination, the man perishes. The man of self-control, moving amongst objects and with his senses under restraint and free from attachment and hate, attains serenity of mind. In that serenity there is an end of all sorrow, for the intelligence of the man of serene mind soon becomes steady. The man whose mind is not under his control has no self-knowledge and no contemplation either. Without contemplation he can have no peace, and without peace how can he have happiness? For even one of the roving senses, if the mind yields to it, carries away discrimination, as a gale carries away a ship on the waters. Therefore, O mighty Arjuna, his wisdom is steady, whose senses are completely restrained from their objects. And that which is night to all beings, the man of self-control is awake, and where all beings are awake, there is night for the Muni who sees. Not the desire of desires attains peace, but he into whom all desires enter, as the waters enter the ocean, which is full to the brim and grounded in stillness. That man who lives completely free from desires, without longing, devoid of the senses of I and me, mine, and attains peace. This is the Brahmanic state, O son of Prita. Attaining it, one is no longer deluded. Being established therein, even in the hour of death, one attains the final liberation in Brahman. Tao Te Ching 48, 49. 48. Pursue knowledge, daily gain. Pursue Tao, daily loss. Loss and further loss, until one reaches unattached action. With unattached action, there is nothing one cannot do. Take the world by constantly applying non-interference. The one who interferes is not qualified to take the world. 49. The sages have no constant mind. They take the mind of the people as their mind. Those who are benevolent, I am benevolent to them. Those who are not benevolent, I am also benevolent to them. Thus the virtue of benevolence. Those who believe, I believe them. Those who do not believe, I also believe them. Thus the virtue of belief. The sages live in the world. They cautiously merge their mind for the world. The people all pay attention with their ears and eyes. The sages care for them as children. Menko 18, 28. Wan Zong says, was it the case that Yao gave the throne to Shun? Menko says, no, the sovereign cannot give the throne to another. Yes, but Shun had the throne. Who gave it to him? Heaven gave it to him, was the answer. Heaven gave it to him. Did heaven confer its appointment on him with specific injunctions? Menko replies, no, heaven does not speak. It simply showed its will by his personal conduct and his conduct of affairs. It showed its will by his personal conduct and his conduct of affairs. How was this? Menko's answer is, the sovereign can present a man to heaven, but he cannot make heaven give that man the throne. A prince can present a man to the sovereign, but he cannot cause the sovereign to make that man a prince. A great officer can present a man to his prince, but he cannot cause the prince to make that man a great officer. Yao presented Shun to heaven, and heaven accepted him. He presented him to the people, and the people accepted him. Therefore I say, heaven does not speak. I simply indicated its will by his personal conduct and his conduct of affairs. Zong says, I presume to ask how it was that Yao presented Shun to heaven, and heaven accepted him, and that he exhibited him to the people, and the people accepted him. Menko replies, he caused him to preside over the offerings, and all the spirits were well pleased with them. Thus heaven accepted him. He caused him to preside over the conduct of affairs, and affairs were well administered, so that the people reposed under him. Thus the people accepted him. Heaven gave the throne to him, the people gave it to him. Therefore I said, the sovereign cannot give the throne to another. Shun assisted Yao in the government for 28 years. This was further than the man could have done, and was from heaven. After the death of Yao, when the 3 years' grieving was completed, Shun withdrew from the son of Yao to the south of South River. The princes of the kingdom, however, repaired to court, went not to the son of Yao, but they went to Shun. Litigants went not to the son of Yao, but they went to Shun. Singers sang not the son of Yao, but they sang Shun. Therefore I say, heaven gave him the throne. It was after these things that he went to the middle kingdom and occupied the seat of the Son of Heaven. If he had, because before these things, taken up his residence in the palace of Yao, and had applied pressure to the son of Yao, it would have been an act of usurpation, and not the gift of heaven. This sentiment is expressed in the words of the great declaration, "Heaven sees according as my people see, heaven hears according as my people hear." Wang Zong asked Minko, saying, "People say when the disposal of the kingdom came to you, his virtue was inferior to that of Yao and Shun, and he transmitted it not to the worthiest but to his son. Was it so?" Minko replies, "No, it was not so. When heaven gave the kingdom to the worthiest, it was given to the worthiest. When heaven gave it to the son of the presiding sovereign, it was given to him. Shun presented you to heaven. 7 years elapsed, and Shun died. When the 3 years' grieving was expired, you withdrew from the son of Shun and to young Cheng. The people of the kingdom followed him, just as after the death of Yao, instead of following his son, they had followed Shun. You presented Yi to heaven. 7 years elapsed, and you died. When the 3 years' grieving was expired, Yi withdrew from the son of Yu, but to the north of Mount Qi. The princess repairing to court went not to Yi, but they went to Qi. The princes repairing to court went not to Yi, but they went to Qi. Litigants did not go to Yi, but they went to Qi, saying, "He is the son of our sovereign." The singers did not sing Yi, but they sang Qi, saying, "He is the son of our sovereign." That Danzu was not equal to his father, and Shun's son not equal to his. That Shun assisted Yao, and Yu assisted Shun, for many years, conferring benefits on the people for a long time. That thus the length of time during which Shun, Yu, and Yi assisted in the government was so different. That Qi was able, as a man of talents and virtue, reverently to pursue the same course as Yu. That Yi assisted Yu only for a few years, and had not long conferred benefits on the people. That the periods of service of the three were so different, and that the sons were one superior and the other superior. All this was from heaven, and what could not be brought about by man. That which is done without man's doing is from heaven. That which happens without man's causing is from the ordinance of heaven. In the case of a private individual obtaining the throne, there must be in him virtue equal to that of Shun or Yu, and further there must be the presenting of him to heaven by the presiding sovereign. It was on this account that Confuzi did not obtain the throne. When the kingdom is possessed by natural succession, the sovereign who is displaced by heaven must be like Ji or Zhao. It was on this account that Yi Yin, and Zhao Gong did not obtain the throne. Yi Yin asked Tang so that he became sovereign over the kingdom. After the demise of Tang, Tai Ding having died before he could be appointed sovereign, Wai Bing reigned 2 years, and Zhong reigned 4. Tai Jia was then turning upside down the statues of Tang when Yi Yin placed him in Tang for 3 years. There Tai Jia repented of his errors and was contrite and reformed himself. In Tang he came to dwell in benevolence and walk in righteousness during those 3 years. Listening to the lessons given to him by Yi Yin, then Yi Yin again returned with him to Bo. Zhao Gong not getting the throne was like the case of Yi and the throne of Jia, or like that of Yi Yin and the throne of Yin. Confuzi said Tang and Yu resigned the throne to their worthy ministers. The sovereign of Jia and those of Yin and Zhao transmitted it to their sons. The principle of righteousness was the same in all these cases. Wang Zong asked Minko, saying, "People say that Yi Yin sought an introduction to Tang by his knowledge of cookery. Was it so?" Minko replies, "No, it was not so. Yi Yin was an agrarian in the lands of the prince of Qin, delighting in the principles of Yao and Shun. In any matter contrary to the righteousness which they prescribed, or contrary to their principles, though he had been offered the throne, he would not have regarded it. Though there had been yoked for him 1,000 teams of horses, he would not have looked at them. In any manner contrary to the righteousness which they prescribed, or contrary to their principles, he would neither have given nor taken a single straw." Tang sent persons with presents of silk to entreat him to enter his service. With an air of indifference and self-satisfaction, he said, "What can I do with those silks with which Tang invites me? Is it not best for me to abide in the channeled fields, and so delight myself with the principles of Yao and Shun?" Tang thrice sent messengers to invite him. After this, with the zong of resolution displayed in his countenance, he spoke in a different style. "Instead of abiding in the channeled fields and thereby delighting myself with the principles of Yao and Shun, had I not better make this prince a prince like Yao or Shun, and this people like the people of Yao or Shun? Had I not better in my own person see these things for myself? Heaven's plan in the production of mankind is this, that they who are first informed should instruct those who are later in being informed, and they who first apprehend principles should instruct those who are slower to do so. I am one of heaven's people who have first apprehended. I will take these principles and instruct this people in them. If I do not instruct them, who will do so? He thought that amongst all the people of the kingdom, even the private men and women, if there were any who did not enjoy such benefits as Yao and Shun conferred, it was as if he himself pushed them into a ditch. He took upon himself the heavy charge of the kingdom in this way, and therefore he went to Tong and pressed upon him the subject of attacking Xia and saving the people. I have not heard of one who bent himself and at the same time made others straight. How much less could one disgrace himself and thereby rectify the whole kingdom? The actions of the sages have been different. Some have kept remote from court, and some have drawn near to it. Some have left their offices, and some have not done so. That to which those different courses are all agree is simply the keeping of their persons pure. I have heard that Yi Yin sought an introduction to Tong by the doctrines of Yao and Shun. I have not heard that he did so by his knowledge of cookery. In the instruction of Yi, it is said, Heaven destroying Ji commenced attacking him in the palace of Mu. I commenced in Bo. Wan Zong asked Min Ke, saying, Some say that Kung Fu Zi, when he was in Wei, lived with the ulcer doctor, and when he was in Qi with the attendant, Qi Huan. Was it so? Min Ke replies, No, it was not so. Those are the inventions of men fond of strange things. When he was in Wei, he lived with Yan Chao Yu. The wives of the officer Mi and Zi Lu were sisters, and Mi told Zi Lu, If Kong Zi will lodge with me, he may attain to the dignity of a high noble of Wei. Zi Lu informed Kong Fu Zi of this, and he said, That is as ordered by heaven. Kong Fu Zi went into office according to propriety and retired from it according to righteousness. In regard to his obtaining office or not obtaining it, he said, That is as ordered. But if he had lodged with the attendant Qi Huan, that would neither have been accorded to righteousness nor any ordering of heaven. When Kong Fu Zi, being dissatisfied in Lu and Wei, had left those states, he met with the attempt of Huan, the master of the horse of Song, to intercept and kill him. He assumed, however, the dress of a common man and passed by Song. At that time, though he was in circumstances of distress, he lodged with the city master of Chong, who was then a minister of Zhao, the Marquis of Chen. I have heard that the characters of ministers about court may be discerned from those whom they entertain, and those of stranger officers from those with whom they lodge. If Kong Fu Zi had lodged with the ulcer doctor and with the attendant Qi Wan, how could he have been Kong Fu Zi? Wen Zong asks Min Ke, Some say that Bai Li Qi sold himself to a cattle keeper of Jin for the skins of 5 rams, and fed his oxen in order to find an introduction to the Duke Mu of Qin. Was this the case? Min Ke says, No, it was not so. The story was invented by men fond of strange things. Bai Li Qi was a man of Yu. The people of Jin, by the inducement of a round portion of jade from Chu Ji and 4 horses of the Chu breed, borrowed a passage through Yu to attack Guo. On that occasion, Gong Zi Qi remonstrated against granting their request, and Bai Li Qi did not remonstrate. When he knew that the Duke of Yu was not to be remonstrated with, and leaving that state went on to Qin, he had reached the age of 70. If by that time he did not know that it would be a mean thing to seek an introduction to the Duke Mu of Qin by feeding oxen, could he be called wise? But not remonstrating where it was of no use to remonstrate, could he be said not to be wise? Knowing that the Duke of Yu would be ruined and leaving him before that event, he cannot be said to have been wise. Being then advanced in Qin, he knew that the Duke Mu was one with whom he would enjoy a field for action, and became minister to him. Could he, acting thus, be said to not be wise? Having become chief minister of Qin, he made his prince distinguished throughout the kingdom and worthy of being handed down to future ages. Could he have done this if he had not been a man of talents and virtue? As to selling himself in order to accomplish all the aims of his prince, even a villager who had a regard for himself would not do such a thing, and shall we say that a man of talents and virtue did it? Digna Nikaya, the Patika Sutta 24, chapter 1. Thus have I heard. The Exalted One was once staying amongst the Mallas at Anupiya, one of their towns. Now the Exalted One, having robed himself in the early matan, put on his cloak and took his bowl and entered the town for alms. And he thought, it is too early for me now to go through Anupiya for alms. I might go to the pleasuance where Bhagava, the Wanderer, dwells, and call upon Bhagava. So the Exalted One went to the pleasuance and to the place where Bhagava, the Wanderer, was. Then Bhagava spake thus to the Exalted One, Let my master the Exalted One come near. Welcome to the Exalted One. It is long since the Exalted One has taken the opportunity to come our way. May it please you, sir, to be seated. Here is a seat made ready. The Exalted One sat down thereon, and Bhagava, taking a certain low stool, sat down beside him. So seated, Bhagava the Wanderer spake thus to the Exalted One, Some days ago, master, a long many days ago, Sunakata of the Lakavis called on me and spake thus, I have now given up the Exalted One, Bhagava. I am remaining no longer under him as my teacher. Is the fact truly so, just as he said? It is just so, Bhagava, as Sunakata of the Lokavi said. Some days ago, Bhagava, a long many days ago, Sunakata the Lokavi came to call on me, and spake thus, Sir, I now give up the Exalted One. I will henceforth remain no longer under him as my teacher. When he told me this, I said to him, But now, Sunakata, have I ever said to you, Come, Sunakata, live under me as my pupil? No, sir, you have not. Or have you ever said to me, Sir, I would fain dwell under the Exalted One as my teacher? No, sir, I have not. But if I said not the one, and you said not the other, what are you and what am I, that you are talking of giving up? See, foolish one, and how distant the fault here is your own. Well, but, sir, the Exalted One works me no mystic wonders, surpassing the power of ordinary men. Why now, Sunakata, have I ever said to you, Come, take me as your teacher, Sunakata, and I will work for you mystic wonders, surpassing the power of ordinary men? You have not, sir. Or have you ever said to me, Sir, I would fain take the Exalted One as my teacher, for he will work for me mystic wonders beyond the powers of ordinary men? I have not, sir. But if I said not the one, and you said not the other, what are you and what am I, foolish man, that you talk of giving up? What think you, Sunakata, whether mystic wonders being the power of ordinary men are wrought, or whether they are not, is the object for which I teach the Dharma this, that it leads to the thorough destruction of ill for the doer thereof? Whether, sir, they are so wrought or not, that is indeed the object for which the Dharma is taught by the Exalted One. If then, Sunakata, it matters not to that object whether mystic wonders are wrought or not, of what utilization to you would be the working of them? See, foolish one, in how distant the fault here is your own. But, sir, the Exalted One does not reveal to me the beginning of things. Why now, Sunakata, have I ever said to you, Come, Sunakata, be my disciple, and I will reveal to you the beginning of things? Sir, you have not. Or have you ever said to me, I will become the Exalted One's pupil, for he will reveal to me the beginning of things? Sir, I have not. But if I not said one, and you have not said the other, what are you and what am I, foolish man, that you talk of giving up on that account? What think you, Sunakata, whether the beginning of things be revealed, or whether it not be, or whether it be not, is the object for which I teach the Dharma this, that it leads to the thorough destruction of ill for the doer thereof? Whether so they are revealed or not, that is indeed the object for which the Dharma is taught by the Exalted One. If then, Sunakata, it matters not to that object whether the beginning of things be revealed or whether it be not, of what utilization to you would it be to have the beginning of things revealed? See, foolish one, and how distant the fault here is your own. In many ways have you, Sunakata, spoken my honors amongst the Vajrayans, saying, Thus is the Exalted One, he is an Arahat, fully awakened wisdom he has in righteousness, he is the welfare, he has knowledge of the worlds, he is the supreme driver of men willing to be tamed, the teacher of devas and men, the awakened and exalted one. In such wise have you been wont amongst the Vajrayans to utter honors of me. In many ways have you, Sunakata, spoken the honors of the Dhamma amongst the Vajrayans. Well proclaimed by the Exalted One is the Dhamma, as bearing on this present life, not involving time, inviting all to come and see, to be understood by every wise man for himself. In such wise have you been wont amongst the Vajrayans to utter honors of the Dharma. In many ways have you, Sunakata, spoken the honors of the Sangha amongst the Vajrayans. Well are they trained, the Sangha of the Exalted One's disciples, even the 4 branches thereof. The 8 classes of individuals well trained in uprightness, in principles, and in courtesy. This Sangha should be respected and revered, gifts should be given it, and homage, for it is the world's unsurpassed field for sowing merit. In such wise have you been wont amongst the Vajrayans to utter honors of the Sangha. I tell you, Sunakata, I make known to you, Sunakata, that there will be those that shall say concerning you thus. Sunakata of the Lakavis was not able to live the holy life under Gautama the recluse, and he not being able to adhere to it, hath renounced the disciple and turned to lower things. Thus Bhagavad did Sunakata of the Lakavis, addressed by me, depart from this doctrine and discipline, and is one doomed to disaster and purgatory. At one time, Bhagavad was staying amongst the Bhumus Uttaraka. Uttaraka is a village of theirs, and having dressed early one matin, I afterwards took my bowl, put on my robe, and went into Uttaraka for alms. Now at that time a cynic there, Bandilags the Katiya, was wont to behave like a dog, walking on all fours, or sprawling on the ground and taking up food, whether hard or soft, with his mouth only, without utilizing his hands. Sunakata, seeing him act thus, thought, how truly admirable does he look, the holy man, the recluse, creeping on all fours, or sprawling on the ground, taking up food, whether hard or soft, with his mouth only. Then I, Bhagavad, knowing what was in his mind, said to him, do you, O foolish man, confess yourself as following the son of the Sakyas? What does the Exalted One mean, sir, in saying this to me? Did you not think, Sunakata, as you looked at that naked cynic, Korach the Katiya, on all fours, sprawling on the earth, taking up his food, whether hard or soft, with his mouth only? How admirable were it to be a holy man like that? Yes, master, I did. What, then? Does the Exalted One begrudge arahatship in others? Nay, foolish man, I begrudge in no one arahatship. It is only in you that this vicious opinion has arisen. Put it away. Let it not become a lasting source of harm and ill to you. This naked cynic Korach the Katiya, whom you, Sunakata, fancy so admirable an arahat, will die 7 days hence of an epilepsy, and dying he will be reborn as one of the Kalakanjas, the very lowest of the Asura groups. As dead he will be laid out on a heap of barana grass in the charnel field. You might go up to him, if you wish, and ask him, do you know your own destiny, friend Korach? Perchance he will reply, I know my own destiny, friend Sunakata. There are Asuras called Kalakanjas, the very lowest of the Asuras group. 'Tis amongst them I am reborn. Thereat Bhagavad, Sunakata of the Lakavis went up to the cynic Korach Katiya, and spake thus to him, Friend Korach the Katiya, the Samana Gautama has declared that on the 7th day hence the naked ascetic Korach the Katiya will die, and dying he will be reborn as one of the Kalakanjas, the very lowest of the Asura groups. As dead he will be laid on a heap of barana grass in the charnel field. Wherefore, friend Korach the Katiya, you should partake of food with great moderation. You should drink liquids with great moderation, so that the word of the Samana Gautama may prove wrong. Then Sunakata, so firmly did he disbelieve the Tathagata, counted up the 7 days, one after another. But, Bhagavad, on the 7th day, Korach the Katiya died of an epilepsy, and dying was reborn as one of the Kalakanjas, the very lowest of the Asura groups, and as dead, was laid out on a heap of barana grass in the charnel field. Now Sunakata heard, Bhagavad, that Korach the Katiya lay dead in the charnel field on a heap of barana grass, and he went thither where the corpse was laying, and thrice he smote the naked ascetic with his hand, saying, Do you know, friend Korach the Katiya, what has been your destiny? Then Bhagavad, Korach the Katiya, rubbing his back with his hand, raised himself up and said, I know, friend Sunakata, what is my destiny. Amongst the Kalakanjas, the very lowest of the Asura groups, there am I reborn. So saying, he fell back supine. Thereupon Bhagavad, Sunakata the Lakavi came to me, and saluting me, sat down beside me. So sitting I spake to him thus, What think you, Sunakata? Has it happened to the cynic Korach the Katiya, even as I declared to you, or otherwise? It has happened to him even as the Exalted One declared to me, not otherwise. What think you, Sunakata? This being so, has a mystic wonder by power beyond that of ordinary men been wrought, or has it not? Surely, sir, this being so, such a mystic wonder has been wrought. And is it then to me, you foolish man, who have thus by power beyond that of ordinary men wrought a mystic wonder, that you say, Sir, the Exalted One works me no miracles with his superhuman gifts? See, foolish man, how distant you have committed yourself. Thus Bhagavad did Sunakata of the Lakavis, addressed by me, depart from this doctrine and discipline as one doomed to disaster and to purgatory. At one time, Bhagavad, I was staying at Vasali in the great wood at the Gable Hall. Now at that time there was a naked ascetic residing at Vasali named Kandara Masuka, and great was his gain and his fame in the Vajjayan home. He had vowed and taken upon himself 7 rules of life, to which so long as I live, I will be of the naked ascetics. I will put on no garment so long as I live. I'll be a devotee, devoted to a life of chastity. So long as I live, I will maintain myself by spirituous drink and by flesh, eating no rice, broth, or gruel. I will never go beyond the Udina shrine on the east of Vesali, to the Gotama shrine on the south, the Satamba shrine on the west, and the Bahuputa shrine on the north. It was because of his having laid upon himself these 7 rules of life that he had gain and fame beyond all others in the Vajjan home. Now Bhagava Sunakata of the Lakavis went to call on Kandara Masuka and asked him a question. Kandara Masuka did not follow the question, and not following manifested resentment, dislike, and anger. Then it occurred to Sunakata, we might come into conflict with the admirable Arahat recluse. Let nothing happen that would make for lasting harm and ill to us. Thereupon Bhagava Sunakata the Lakavi came to call upon me, and saluting me, he sat down beside me, and thus I spake to him. Do you, O foolish man, still confess yourself as following the son of the Sakyas? What does the Exalted One mean in saying that? Why, Sunakata, did you not go up to the naked ascetic Kandara Masuka and ask him a question which he did not follow, and over which he manifested anger, dislike, and resentment? And did it not occur to you, we might come into conflict with the admirable Arahat and recluse? Let nothing happen that would make for lasting harm and ill to us. It was even so, sir. Does the Exalted One begrudge Arahatship in anyone? Nay, foolish man, I begrudge in no one Arahatship. To you only has this vicious opinion arisen. Get rid of it. Let that not make for lasting harm and ill to you. This naked ascetic Kandara Masuka, whom you think so admirable and Arahat recluse, will ere long end his days clothed and married, his diet rice broth and rice gruel, his range past all shrines in Vesali, and he will die fallen from his fame. And ere long Bhagava, that ascetic, ended his days clothed and married, his diet rice broth and rice gruel, his range past all shrines in Vesali, and died fallen from his fame. Now Sunakata heard that Kandara Masuka, the ascetic, had ended his days clothed and married, his diet rice broth and rice gruel, his range past all shrines in Vesali, and died fallen from his fame. Thereupon he came to call upon me, and saluting me, he sat down beside me, and I spake to him thus. What think you, Sunakata? Has it happened to this naked ascetic Kandara Masuka, even as I declared to you, or otherwise? It has happened to him even as the Exalted One declared to me, not otherwise. What think you, Sunakata? This being so, has the mystic wonder by power surpassing that of ordinary men been wrought, or has none been wrought? Surely, sir, this being so, such a mystic power has been wrought. And is it then to me, you foolish men, who have thus, by power surpassing that of ordinary men, wrought a mystic wonder, that you say, Sir, the Exalted One works no such mystic wonder? See, foolish man, how distant you have committed yourself. Thus Bhagavad did Sunakata the Lakavi, addressed by me, depart from this doctrine and discipline, as one doomed to disaster and into purgatory. At one time, Bhagavad, I was staying there at Vesali in the great wood at the Gable Hall. Now at that time the naked ascetic Patika's son was residing at Vesali, and great was his gain and his fame in the Vajjan home. He held forth thus in the Vesali assemblies. Both the Samana Gotama and I affirm that we have insight. Now it becomes one who affirms this to show, in virtue of his insight, mystic wonders by his extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama would come halfway, I would meet him halfway. Then we would both work a mystic wonder by our extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama work one such mystic wonder, I will work 2. If he work 2, I will work 4. If he will work 4, I will work 8. Thus, to whatever extent he may perform, I will perform double. Then Bhagava Sunakata the Lakavi came to call on me, and saluting me, sat down beside me. And so seated he said this, The naked ascetic Patika's son, sir, held forth thus in the Vesali assemblies. Both the Samana Gotama and I affirm that we have insight. Now it becomes one who affirms this to show, in virtue of his insight, mystic wonders by his extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama would come halfway, I would meet him. Then we could both work a mystic wonder by our extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama work one such mystic wonder, I will work 2. If he work 2, I will work 4. If he work 4, I will work 8. Thus, to whatever extent he may perform, I will perform double. And when he had thus spoken, Bhagava, I said to Sunakata, Incompetent Sunakata is the naked ascetic, Patika's son, to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion, if he thinks that holding to those words, to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder. Let the Exalted One take heed to what he says. Let the welfare take heed to what he says. What do you mean, Sunakata, that you say this to me? Let the Exalted One take heed to what he says. Let the welfare take heed to what he says. It may be, sir, that the Exalted One's words convey an absolute statement respecting what would happen in any case to Patika's son, should he as such come to meet the Samana Gotama. But Patika's son might come in an altered shape to meet the Exalted One, and that would render the Exalted One's words false. Now, Sunakata, would a Tathagata utter any speech that was ambiguous? Well now, sir, is it by the Exalted One's own discernment that he knows incompetent is the naked ascetic, Patika's son, to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion? If he thinks that holding to those words, to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder? Or has some deva announced, incompetent is the naked ascetic, Patika's son, to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion? If he thinks that holding to those words, to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder. To the Tathagata. I have both discerned in my mind, Sunakata, incompetent is the naked ascetic, Patika's son, to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion. If he thinks that holding to those words, to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to me the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder, and a deva has also announced it to me. Incompetent is the naked ascetic, Patika's son, to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion. If he thinks that holding to those words, that to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder. For Ajita, general of the Lukavis, who died the other day, has been reborn in the realm of the 3 and 30. He came to me and declared this to me. Shameless, sir, is the naked ascetic, Patika's son. A liar, sir, is Patika's son. He made the statement concerning me amongst the Vajrayans. Ajita, the general of the Lukavis, is reborn in the great purgatory. But I am not reborn there, sir. I am reborn in the realm of the 30 and 3. Shameless is Patika's son, sir, and a liar. Incompetent is he to meet Samana Gotama face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion. If he thinks that holding to those views, to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder. Thus, Sunakata, have I both discerned in my mind, incompetent is the naked ascetic, Patika's son, to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion. If he thinks that holding to those words, to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder. And a deva has also announced to me, incompetent is the naked ascetic, Patika's son, to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion. If he thinks that holding to those words, to that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder. Now, Sunakata, when I have gone to Vesali on my round for alms and have dined, and am on the way back, I will go to Patika's son's park. Tell him then, Sunakata, whatever you think right. Then I, Bhagava, having dressed early and taken my bowl and robe, entered Vesali for alms, and after my meal, as I returned, I went into Patika's son's park for siesta. Then Bhagava, Sunakata the Lukavi, in a great hurry, went into Vesali, and went to all the most distinguished of the Lukavis, and told them, saying, Friends, that Exalted One, on returning from his round for alms, and after dining, has gone to Patika's son's park for siesta. Come forth, sirs, come forth. There is going to be wonder-working by the superhuman gifts of admirable recluses. Then those most distinguished amongst the Lukavis thought, There is going to be wonder-working by the superhuman gifts of admirable recluses. Come, then, let's go. And wherever there were eminent Brahmins and wealthy householders of position who had become wanderers or Brahmins of different sects, there he went and told them, saying, Friends, the Exalted One, on returning from his round for alms after dining, has gone to Patika's son's park for siesta. Come forth, sirs, come forth. There is going to be wonder-working by the superhuman gifts of admirable recluses. And those most eminent Brahmins and wealthy householders of position who had become wanderers or Brahmins of different sects thought there is going to be wonder-working by the superhuman gift of admirable recluses. Come then, let's go. So, Bhagavad, those eminent Lukavis and distinguished Brahmins and wealthy householders of position, wanderers or Brahmins of different sects, all repaired to the park of the naked ascetic Patika's son. And they formed an assembly of several hundred, nay, of several thousand persons. Now Patika's son heard that all these people were come out, and that the Samana Gotama himself was sitting during siesta in his park, and hearing of it, fear came upon him, and trembling and creeping of the flesh. And thus afeared, agitated, and in dread, he went away to the Tinduka Pollards, the Wanderers' Park. Then that company Bhagava heard that he had gone thither in a panic, and they charged a certain man, saying, "Come, my man, go to the Tinduka Pollards and find Patika's son, the naked ascetic, and say this to him: We have come out, friend Patika's son. There are come out many distinguished Lakavis and Brahmins and wealthy householders and various teachers amongst Brahmins and recluses. And the Samanagota himself is sitting during siesta in your reverence's park. You, friend Patika's son, have delivered this speech in the assembly at Vesali. Both the Samana Gotama and I affirm that we have insight. Now it becomes one who affirms this to show, in virtue of his insight, mystic wonders by his extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama would come halfway, I would meet him halfway. Then we could both work a mystic wonder by our extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama work one such mystic wonder, I will work two. If he work two, I will work four. If he will work four, I will work eight. Thus, to whatever extent he may perform, I will perform double. Come forth then halfway, friend Patika's son. The Samana Gotama has come all the first half, and is seated in your reverence's park for siesta. Very well, said the man, consenting, and he went to Tinduka Pollards, the Wanderer's Park, found Patika's son, and said this: We have come out, friend Patika's son. There are come out many distinguished Lakavis and Brahmins and wealthy householders and various teachers amongst Brahmins and recluses. And the Samana Gotama himself is sitting during his siesta in your reverence's park. You, friend Patika's son, have delivered this speech in the assembly at Vesali. Both the Samana Gotama and I affirm that we have insight. Now it becomes one who affirms this to show, in virtue of his insight, mystic wonders by his extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama would come halfway, I would meet him halfway. If then we could both work a mystic wonder by our extraordinary gifts. If the Samana Gotama work one such mystic wonder, I will work two. If he work two, I will work four. If he work four, I will work eight. Thus, to whatever extent he may perform, I will perform double. Come forth then halfway, friend Patika's son. The Samana Gotama has come all the first half, and is seated in your reverence's park for siesta. When this was told him, Bhagavad, the naked ascetic Patika's son, saying, I am coming, friend, I am coming, writhed about then and there, and was unable to rise from his seat. Then said the man to him, How now, friend Patika's son? Are your hams stuck to your seat, or is your seat stuck to your hams? You say, I am coming, friend, I am coming, yet you writhe about and are not able to rise from your seat. And though this was said to him, Patika's son repeated, I am coming, friend, I am coming, but only writhed about, unable to rise. Now, when the man recognized Patika's son's discomfiture, hearing his words and seeing his incapacity, he went to the assembly and told them, saying, The naked ascetic Patika's son seems discomfited. He says, I am coming, friend, I am coming, but he only writhes about as he sits and is unable to get up. At these words, Bhagavad said to the assembly, Incompetent friends is the naked ascetic Patika's son's son to meet me face to face, if he withdraw not those words, if he put not away that idea, if he renounce not that opinion. If he thinks that holding to those words, that idea, maintaining that opinion, he would come to meet the Samana Gotama, his head would split asunder. Dhammapada Jaravaga Onse. When this world is ever ablaze, why this laughter, why this jubilation? Shrouded in darkness, will you not see the light? Behold this body, a painted image, a mass of heaped up sores, infirm, full of hankering, of which nothing is lasting or stable. Fully worn out is this body, a nest of disease and fragile. This foul mass breaks up, for death is the end of life. Those dove-colored bones are like gourds that lie scattered about in autumn. Having seen them, how can one seek delight? This city, the body, is built of bones, plastered with flesh and blood. Within are decay and death, pride and jealousy. Even gorgeous royal chariots wear out, and indeed this body too wears out. But the Dharma of the benevolent one does not age, thus the benevolent make it known to the benevolent. The man of little learning grows old like a bull. He grows only in bulk, but his wisdom does not grow. Through many a birth in samsara have I wandered in vain, seeking the builder of this house of life. Repeated birth is indeed suffering. O house builder, you are seen. You will not build this house again, for your rafters are broken and your ridgepole shattered. My mind has reached the unconditioned. I have attained the destruction of craving. Those who in youth have not led the holy life, or have failed to acquire wealth, languish like old cranes in the pond without fish. Those who in youth have not led the holy life or have failed to acquire wealth lie sighing over the past like worn-out arrows shot from a bow. Gospels, John 7:8. After this, Jesus went around in Galilee. He did not want to go about in Judea because the Jewish brethren leaders there were looking for a way to kill him. When the Jewish brethren festival of tabernacles was near, Jesus' brother said to him, "Leave Galilee and go to Judea, so that your disciples there may see the works you do. No one who wants to become a public figure acts in secret. Since you are doing these things, show yourself to the world." For even his own brothers did not believe in him. Therefore Jesus told them, "My time is not yet here, for you any time will do. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me because I testify that its works are evil. You go to the festival, I am not going up to the festival, because my time has not yet fully come." After he had said this, he stayed in Galilee. However, after his brothers had left for the festival, he went also, not publicly, but in secret. Now at the festival, the Jewish brethren leaders were watching for Jesus and asking, "Where is he?" Amongst the crowds there was widespread whispering about him. Some said, "He is a benevolent man." Others replied, "No, he deceives the people." But no one would say anything publicly about him for fear of the leaders. Not until halfway through the festival did Jesus go up to the temple courts and begin to teach. The Jewish brethren there were amazed and asked, "How did this man get such learning without having been taught?" Jesus answered, "My teaching is not my own, it comes from the one who sent me. Anyone who chooses to do the will of God will find out whether my teaching comes from God or whether I speak on my own. Whoever speaks on their own does so to gain personal glory, but he who seeks the glory of the one who sent him is a man of truth. There is nothing false about him. Has not Moshe given you the law? Yet not one of you keeps the law. Why are you trying to kill me?" "You are demon-possessed," the crowd answered. "Who is trying to kill you?" Jesus said to them, "I did one miracle, and you are all amazed. Yet because Moshe gave you circumcision, though actually it did not come from Moshe, but from the patriarchs, you circumcised a boy on Shabbat. Now if a boy can be circumcised on Shabbat so that the law of Moshe may not be broken, why are you angry with me for healing a man's whole body on Shabbat? Stop judging by mere appearances, but instead judge correctly." At that point, some of the people of Jerusalem began to ask, "Isn't this the man they are trying to kill? Here he is, speaking publicly, and they are not saying a word to him. Have the authorities truly concluded that he is the Messiah? But we know where this man is from. When the Messiah comes, no one will know where he is from." Then Jesus, still teaching in the temple courts, cried out, "Yes, you know me, and you know where I am from. I am not here on my own authority, but the one who sent me is true. You do not know the one, but I know the one because I am from the one, and the one sent me." At this they tried to seize him, but no one laid a hand on him because his hour had not yet come. Still many in the crowd believed in him. They said, "When the Messiah comes, will he perform further signs than this man?" The Pharisees heard the crowd whispering such things about him. Then the chief priests and the Pharisees sent temple guards to arrest him. Jesus said, "I am with you for only a short time, and then I am going to the one who sent me. You will look for me, but you will not find me, and where I am you cannot come." The Jewish brethren said to one another, "Where does this man intend to go that we cannot find him? Will he go where our people live, scattered amongst the Greeks, and teach the Greeks? What did he mean when he said, 'You will look for me, but you will not find me, and where I am you cannot come'?" On the last and greatest day of the festival, Jesus stood and said in a loud voice, "Let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as Scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them." By this he meant the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were later to receive. Up to that time the Spirit had not been given since Jesus had not yet been glorified. On hearing his words, some of the people said, "Surely this man is the prophet." Others said, "He is the Messiah." Still others asked, "How can the Messiah come from Galilee? Does not Scripture say that the Messiah will come from David's descendants and from Bethlehem, the town where David lived?" Thus the people were divided because of Jesus. Some wanted to seize him, but no one laid a hand on him. Finally the temple guards went back to the chief priests and the Pharisees, who asked them, "Why didn't you bring him in?" "No one ever spoke the way this man does," the guards replied. "You mean he has deceived you also?" the Pharisees retorted. "Have any of the rulers of the Pharisees believed in him?" "No, but this mob that knows nothing of the law, there is a curse on them." Nicodemus, who had gone to Jesus earlier and who was one of their own number, asked, "Does our law condemn a man without first hearing him to find out what has been doing?" They replied, "Are you from Galilee too? Look into it, and you will find that a prophet does not come out of Galilee." They went each to his own house. But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. At dawn he appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered around him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group, and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law, Moshe commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?" They were utilizing this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Now go now and leave your life of sin." When Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." The Pharisees challenged him, "Here you are appearing as your own witness. Your testimony is not valid." Jesus answered, "Even if I testify on my own behalf, my testimony is valid, for I know where I came from and where I am going, but you have no idea where I come from or where I am going. You judge by human standards. I pass judgment on no one. But if I do judge, my decisions are true, because I am not alone. I stand with the Creator who sent me. In your own law it is written that the testimony of two witnesses is true. I am one who testifies for myself. My other witness is the Creator who sent me." Then they asked him, "Where is your Creator?" "You do not know me or my Creator." Jesus replied, "If you knew me, you would know my Creator also." He spoke these words whilst teaching in the temple courts near the place where the offerings were put. Yet no one seized him, because his hour had not yet come. Once further Jesus said to them, "I am going away, and you will look for me, and you will die in your sin. Where I go, you cannot come." This made the Jewish brethren ask, "Will he kill himself? Is that why he says, 'Where I go, you cannot come'?" But he continued, "You are from below, I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world. I told you that you would die in your sins. If you do not believe that I am he, you will indeed die in your sins." "Who are you?" they asked. "Just what I have been telling you from the beginning," Jesus replied. "I have much to say in judgment of you, but the one who sent me is trustworthy, and what I have heard from the one I tell the world." They did not understand that he was telling them about his Creator. So Jesus said, "When you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you will know that I am he, and that I do nothing on my own, but speak just what the Creator has taught me. The one who sent me is with me. God has not left me alone, for I always do what pleases God." Even as he spoke, many believed in him. To the Jewish brethren who had believed him, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are truly my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." They answered him, "We are Abraham's descendants and have never been slaves of anyone. How can you say that we shall be set free?" Jesus replied, "Very truly I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to it forever. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's descendants, yet you are looking for a way to kill me, because you have no room for my word. I am telling you that what I have seen in the Creator's presence, and you are doing what you have heard from your father." "Abraham is our father," they answered. "If you were Abraham's children," said Jesus, "then you would do what Abraham did. As it is, you are looking for a way to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. Abraham did not do such things. You are doing the works of your own father. We are not illegitimate children," they protested. "The only Creator we have is God, by God." Jesus said to them, "If God were your Creator, you would love me, for I have come here from God. I have not come on my own. God has sent me. God sent me. Why is my language not clear to you? Because you are unable to hear what I say. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Yet because I tell the truth, you do not believe me. Can any of you prove me guilty if I am telling the truth? Why don't you believe me? Whoever belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. The Jewish brethren answered him, Aren't we right in saying that you are a Samaritan and a demon-possessed? I am not possessed by a demon, said Jesus, but I honor my Creator, and you dishonor me. I am not seeking glory for myself, but there is one who seeks it, and God is the judge. Very truly, I tell you, whoever obeys my word will never see death. At this they exclaimed, Now we know that you are demon-possessed. Abraham died, and so did the prophets, yet you say that whoever obeys your word will never taste death. Are you greater than our father Abraham? He died, and so did the prophets. Who do you think you are? Jesus replied, I will glorify myself. My glory means nothing. My Creator, whom you claim as your God, is the one who glorifies me. Though you do not know God, I know God. If I said I did not, I would be a liar like you, but I do know God and obey God's word. Therefore Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad. You are not yet 50 years old, they said to him, and you have seen Abraham? Very truly I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. At this they picked up stones to stone him, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. Quran, Surah Muhammad, Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Hujurat, Surah Kaf, 47 a 50. Surah Muhammad, 47. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Those who reject Allah and hinder men from the path of Allah, their deeds will Allah render astray from their mark. But those who believe and work deeds of righteousness and believe in the revelation sent down to Muhammad, for it is the truth from their Lord, Allah will remove from them their ills and improve their condition. This because those who reject Allah follow vanities, whilst those who believe follow the truth from their Lord. Thus does Allah set forth for men their lessons by similitudes. Therefore, when ye meet the unbelievers and fight, smite at their necks at length. When ye have thoroughly subdued them, bind a bond firmly on them. Thereafter is the time for either generosity or ransom, until the war lays down its burdens. Thus are ye commanded, but if it had been Allah's will, Allah could certainly have exacted retribution from them by Allah. But Allah lets you fight in order to test you, some with others. But those who are slain in the way of Allah, Allah will never let their deeds be lost. Soon will Allah guide them and improve their condition, and admit them to the garden which Allah has announced for them. O ye who believe, if ye will aid the cause of Allah, Allah will aid you and plant your feet firmly. But those who reject Allah, for them is destruction, and Allah will render their deeds astray from their mark. That is because they hate the revelation of Allah, so Allah has made their deeds fruitless. Do they not travel through the earth and see what was the end of those before them who did evil? Allah brought utter destruction on them, and similar fates await those who reject Allah. That is because Allah is the protector of those who believe, but those who reject Allah have no protector. Verily, Allah will admit those who believe and do righteous deeds to gardens beneath which rivers flow, whilst those who reject Allah will enjoy this world and eat as cattle eat, and the fire will be their abode. And how many cities with further power than thy city which has driven thee out have we destroyed for their sins, and there was none to aid them? Is then one who is on a clear path from his Lord no better than one to whom the evil of his conduct seems pleasing, and such as follow their own lusts? Herein is a parable of the garden which the righteous are promised. In it are rivers of water incorruptible, rivers of milk of which the taste never changes, rivers of wine, a joy to those who drink, and rivers of honey pure and clear. In it there are for them all kinds of fruits and grace from their Lord. Can those in such bliss be compared to such as shall dwell forever in the fire, and be given to drink boiling water, so that it cuts up their bowels to portions? And amongst them are men who listen to thee, but in the end, when they go out from thee, they say to those who have received knowledge, What is it he said just then? Such are men whose hearts Allah has sealed, and who follow their own lusts. But to those who receive guidance, Allah increases the light of guidance and bestows on them their piety and restraint from evil. Do they then only wait for the hour that it should come on them of a sudden? But already have come some tokens thereof, and when it actually is on them, how can they benefit then by their admonition? Know therefore that there is none other deity but Allah, and ask forgiveness for thy fault and for the men and women who believe, for Allah knows how ye move about and how ye dwell in your homes. Those who believe say, why is not a surah sent down for us? But when a surah of basic or categorical meaning is revealed and fighting is mentioned therein, thou wilt see those in whose hearts is a disease looking at thee with a look of one in swoon at the approach of death. But further fitting for them were it to obey and say what is just, and when a matter is resolved, it were best for them if they were true to Allah. Then is it to be expected of you, if ye were put in authority, that ye will do mischief in the land and break your ties of kith and kin? Such are the men whom Allah has cursed, for Allah has made them deaf and blinded their sight. Do they not then earnestly seek to understand the Quran, or are their hearts locked up by them? Those who turn back as apostates after guidance was clearly shown to them, the evil one has instigated them and busied them up with false hopes. This because they said to those who hate what Allah has revealed, we will obey you in part of this matter, but Allah knows their inner secrets. But how will it be when the angels take their souls at death and smite their faces and their backs? This because they follow that which called forth the wrath of Allah, and they hated Allah's benevolent pleasure, so Allah made their deeds of no effect. Or do those in whose hearts is a disease think that Allah will not bring to light all their rancor? Had we so willed, we could have shown them up to thee, and thou shouldst have known them by their marks, but surely thou wilt know them by the tone of their speech, and Allah knows all that ye do. And we shall try you until we test those amongst you who strive their utmost and persevere in patience, and we shall try your reported mettle. Those who reject Allah hinder men from the path of Allah and resist the Messenger after guidance has been clearly shown to them. Will ye not injure in the least? Those who reject Allah hinder men from the path of Allah and resist the Messenger after guidance has been clearly shown to them. Will not injure Allah in the least, but Allah will make their deeds of no effect. O ye who believe, obey Allah and obey the Apostle, and make not vain your deeds. Those who reject Allah and hinder men from the path of Allah, then die rejecting Allah, Allah will not forgive them. Be not weary and faint-hearted, crying for peace when ye should be uppermost, for Allah is with you, and will never put you in loss for your benevolent deeds. The life of this world is but play and amusement, and if you believe and guard against evil, Allah will grant you your recompense and will not ask you to give up your possessions. If Allah were to ask you for all of them and press you, you would covetously withhold, and Allah would bring out all your ill feeling. Behold, ye are those invited to spend of your substance in the way of Allah, but amongst you are some that are stingy. But any who are stingy are so at the expense of their own souls, but Allah is free of all wants, and it is ye that are needy. If ye turn back from the path, Allah will substitute in your stead another people, then they would not be like you. Surah Fatiha, 48. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Verily we have granted thee a manifest victory, that Allah may forgive thee thy faults of the past and those to follow, fulfill Allah's favor to thee, and guide thee on the straight way. And that Allah may help thee with powerful help. It is Allah who sent down tranquility into the hearts of the believers, that they may add faith to their faith. For to Allah belong the forces of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. That Allah may admit the men and women who believe to gardens beneath which rivers flow, to dwell therein for aye, and remove their ills from them, and that is, in the sight of Allah, the highest achievement for man. And that Allah may punish the hypocrites, men and women, and the polytheists, men and women, who imagine an evil opinion of Allah. On them is a round of evil, the wrath of Allah is on them. Allah has cursed them and got hell ready for them, and evil is it for a destination. For to Allah belong the forces of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is exalted in power, full of wisdom. We have truly sent thee as a witness, and as a bringer of glad tidings, and as a warner, in order that ye, O men, may believe in Allah and Allah's messenger, that ye may assist and honor Allah, and celebrate Allah's praise, metta and evening. Verily those who plight their fealty to thee do no less than plight their fealty to Allah. The hand of Allah is over their hands. Then anyone who violates his oath does so to the harm of his own soul, and anyone who fulfills what he has covenanted with Allah, Allah will soon grant him a great reward. The desert Arabs who lagged behind will say to thee, we were engaged in looking after our flocks and herds and our families. Do thou then ask forgiveness for us. They say with their tongues what is not in their hearts. Say, who then has any power at all to intervene on your behalf with Allah? If Allah's will is to give you some loss or to give you some benefit, to give you some gain. But Allah is well acquainted with all that ye do. Nay, ye thought that the messenger and the believers would never return to their families. This seemed pleasing in your eyes, and ye conceived an evil thought, for ye are people lost in wickedness. And if any believe not in Allah and Allah's messenger, we have prepared for those who reject Allah a blazing fire. To Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. Allah forgives whom Allah wills, and Allah punishes whom Allah wills, but Allah is all-forgiving, most merciful. Those who lag behind will say, when ye are free to march and take booty in war, permit us to follow you. They wish to change Allah's decree. Say not thus will ye follow us. Allah has already declared this beforehand. Then they will say, but ye are jealous of us. Nay, but little do they understand such things. Say to the desert Arabs who lag behind, ye shall be summoned to fight against a people given to vehement war. Then shall ye fight, or they shall submit. And if ye show obedience, Allah will grant you a benevolent reward. But if ye turn back as ye did before, Allah will punish you with a grievous penalty. No blame is there on the blind, nor is there blame on the lame, nor on one ill, if he joins not the war. But he that obeys Allah and Allah's messenger, Allah will admit him to gardens beneath which rivers flow, and he who turns back, Allah will punish him with a grievous penalty. Allah's benevolent pleasure was on the believers when they swore fealty to thee under the tree. Allah knew what was in their hearts, and Allah sent down tranquility to them, and Allah rewarded them with a speedy victory. And many gains will they acquire besides, and Allah is exalted in power, full of wisdom. Allah has promised you many gains that ye shall acquire, and Allah has given you these beforehand, and Allah has restrained the hands of men from you, that it may be a sign for the believers, and Allah may guide you to a straight path. And other gains there are which are not within your power, but which Allah has compassed, and Allah has power over all things. If the unbelievers should fight you, they would certainly turn their backs. Then would ye find their protector, neither protector nor helper. Such has been the practice approved of Allah already in the past. No change will thou find in the practice approved of Allah. And it is Allah who has restrained their hands from you, and your hands from them in the midst of Makkah. After that, Allah gave you the victory over them, and Allah sees well all that ye do. They are the ones who denied revelation and hindered you from the sacred masjid and the offertory animals, and detailed from reaching their place of sacrifice. Had there not been believing men and believing women whom ye did not know, that ye were trampling down, and on whose account a crime would have accrued to you without your knowledge, Allah would have allowed you to force your way, but Allah held back your hands, that Allah may admit to Allah's mercy whom Allah will. If they had been apart, we should certainly have punished the unbelievers amongst them with a grievous punishment. Whilst the unbelievers got up in their hearts heat and cant, the heat and cant of ignorance, Allah sent down Allah's tranquility to Allah's messenger and to the believers, and made them stick close to the command of self-restraint, and well were they entitled to it and worthy of it, and Allah has full knowledge of all things. Truly did Allah fulfill the division for Allah's messenger. Ye shall enter the sacred masjid, if Allah wills, with minds secure, heads shaved, hair cut short, and without fear. For Allah knew what ye knew not, and Allah granted besides this a speedy victory. It is Allah who has sent down Allah's messenger with guidance and the religion of truth, to proclaim it over all religion, and enough is Allah for a witness. Muhammad is the apostle of Allah, and those who are with him are strong against unbelievers, but compassion amongst each other. Thou will see them bow and prostrate themselves in prayer, seeking grace from Allah and Allah's benevolent pleasure. On their faces are their marks, being the traces of their prostration. This is the similitude in the Torah, and their similitude in the Gospel is like a sea which sends forth its blade, then it makes it strong, it then becomes thick, and it stands on its own stem. filling the sowers with wonder and delight. As a result, it fills the unbelievers with rage at them. Allah has promised those amongst them who believe and do righteous deeds forgiveness and a great reward. Surah Al-Hujurat, 49. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. O ye who believe, put not yourselves forward before Allah and Allah's Messenger, but fear Allah, for Allah is Allah who hears and knows all things. O ye who believe, raise not your voices above the voice of the Prophet, nor speak aloud to him in talk, as ye may speak aloud to one another, lest your deeds become vain and ye perceive not. Those that lower their voices in the presence of Allah's Messenger, their hearts has Allah tested for piety, for them is forgiveness and a great reward. Those who shout out to thee from without the inner apartments, most of them lack understanding. If only they had patience until thou couldst come out to them, it would be best for them, but Allah is all-forgiving, most merciful. O ye who believe, if a wicked person comes to you with any news, ascertain the truth, that ye harm people unwittingly, and afterwards become full of repentance for what ye have done. And know that amongst you is Allah's Messenger. Were he in many matters to follow your wishes, ye would certainly fall into misfortune. But Allah has endeared the faith to you and has made it beautiful in your hearts, and Allah has made hateful to you unbelief, wickedness, and rebellion. Such indeed are those who walk in righteousness. A grace and favor from Allah, and Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. If two parties amongst the believers fall into a quarrel, make ye peace between them. But if one of them transgresses beyond bounds against the other, then fight ye all against the one that transgresses until it complies with the command of Allah. But if it complies, then make peace between them with justice and be fair, for Allah loves those who are fair and just. The believers are but a single brotherhood, so make peace and reconciliation between your two contending brothers, and fear Allah that ye may receive mercy. O ye who believe, let not some men amongst you laugh at others. It may be that the latter are better than the former, nor let some women laugh at others. It may be that the latter are better than the former. Nor defame, nor be sarcastic to each other, nor call each other by offensive nicknames. Ill-seeming is a name connoting wickedness, to be utilized of one after he has believed. And those who do not desist are indeed doing wrong. O ye who believe, avoid suspicion as much as possible, for suspicion in some cases is a sin, and spy not on each other behind their backs. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? Nay, ye would abhor it, but fear Allah, for Allah is often returning most merciful. O mankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes that you may know each other, not that you may despise each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is he who is the most righteous of you, and Allah has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. The desert Arabs say, we believe. Say, ye have no faith, but ye only say, we have submitted our wills to Allah, for not yet has faith entered your hearts. But if ye obey Allah and Allah's Messenger, Allah will not belittle aught of your deeds, for Allah is all-forgiving, most merciful. Only those are believers who have believed in Allah and Allah's Messenger, and have never since doubted, but have striven with their belongings and their persons in the cause of Allah. Such are the sincere ones. Were we then weary with the first creation, that they should be in confused doubt about a new creation? Say, what will ye instruct Allah about your religion? But Allah knows all that is in the heavens and on earth. Allah has full knowledge of all things. They impress on thee as a favor that they have embraced Islam. Say, count not your Islam as a favor upon me. Nay, Allah has conferred a favor upon you, that Allah has guided you to the faith, if ye be true and sincere. Verily, Allah knows the secrets of the heavens and the earth, and Allah sees well all that ye do. Surah Kaf, 50. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Kaf. By the glorious Quran, thou art Allah's messenger. But they wonder that there has come to them a warner from amongst themselves. So the unbelievers say, this is a wonderful thing. What, when we die and become dust, shall we live again? That is a sort of return distant from our understanding. We already know how much of them the earth takes away. With us is a record regarding the full account. But they deny the truth when it comes to them, so they are in a confused state. Do they not look at the sky above them, how we have made it and adorned it, and there are no flaws in it? And the earth we have spread it out, and set thereon mountains standing firm, and produced therein every kind of beautiful growth in pairs, to be observed and commemorated by every devotee turning to Allah. And we send down from the sky rain charted with blessing, and we produce therewith gardens and grain for harvest, and tall and stately palm trees with shoots of fruit stalks piled one over another, as sustenance for Allah's servants, and we give new life therewith to land that is dead. Thus will be the resurrection. Before them was denied the hereafter by the people of Noach, the companions of the Ras and the Talmud, the Ad Pharaoh, the brethren of Lot, the companions of the wood, and the people of Tuba. Each one of them rejected the apostles, and my warning was duly fulfilled in them. Were we then weary with the first creation, that they should be in confused doubt about a new creation? It was we who created man, and we know what dark suggestions his soul makes to him, for we are nearer to him than his jugular vein. Behold, 2 guardian angels appointed to learn his doings, learn and note them, one sitting on the right and one on the left. Not a word does he utter, but there is a sentinel by him ready to note it. And the stupor of death will bring truth before his eyes. This was the thing which thou wast trying to escape. And the trumpet shall be blown, that will be the day whereof warning had been given. And there will come forth every soul, with each will be an angel to drive and an angel to bear witness. It will be said, Thou wast heedless of this, now have ye removed thy veil, and sharp is thy sight this day. And his companion will say, Here is his record ready with me. The sentence will be, Throw into hell every contumacious rejecter of Allah, who forbade what was benevolent, transgressed all bounds, cast doubts and suspicions, who set up another deity beside Allah, throw him into a severe penalty. Allah's companion will say, Our Lord, I did not make him transgress, but he was himself distantly astray. Allah will say, Dispute not with each other in my presence. I had already in advance sent you warning. The word changes not before me, and I do not the least injustice to my servants. One day will we ask, How art thou filled to the full? It will say, Are there any further to come? And the garden will be brought nigh to the righteous, no further a distant thing. A voice will say, This is what was promised for you, for everyone who returned to Allah in sincere repentance, who kept Allah's law, who feared Allah most gracious, unseen, and brought a heart turned in devotion to Allah. Enter ye therein in peace and security. This is a day of eternal life. There will be for them therein all that they wish, and further besides in our presence. But how many generations before them did we destroy for their sins, stronger in power than they? Then did they wander through the land. Was there any place of escape for them? Verily in this is a message for any that has a heart and understanding, or who gives ear and earnestly witnesses the truth. We created the heavens and the earth, and all between them in 6 days, nor did any sense of weariness touch us. Bear then with patience all that they say, and celebrate the praises of thy Lord before the rising of the soleil and before its setting, and during part of the night also celebrate Allah's praises, and so likewise after the postures of adoration. And listen for the day when the caller will call out from a place quite near. The day when they will hear a mighty blast, in very truth, that will be the day of resurrection. Verily it is we who give life and death, and to us is the final goal. The day when the earth will be rent asunder from men hurrying out, that will be a gathering together, quite easy for us. We know best what they say, and thou art none one to overawe them by force. So admonish with the Quran such as fear my warning. Sunjata, episode 1 a 10. You say you want to know about Mandin, Namo. For us to give you many details about Mandin, Namo. With which part of Mandin will we start, Namo? We will start with Sunjata's far, Namo, who is Farako Manko Farakankin, Namo. The name of Ma'an Sunjata's far is Namo, Manko Farakonkin of Konfara, Namo. Do you know where Konfara is, Namo? It is on the frontier between Guinea and Mali, at a place now known as Kore Mali, Namo. The swampy area where the Kore Mali people dig their gold mines is known as Konfara, Namo. The Far of Simbon was named after that, Namo, but his true name is Magan, Namo. He is Magan Konfara. The land of Konfara was acquired from us, the Konde, Namo. This Magan Konfara of whom I speak, Namo, his son's name is Sunjata, the last Mansa of Mandin, Namo. He is the last of the Mande, Mansa, Namo. You heard it, Namo. When Sunjata was born, Namo, who was the Mansa of Mandin, Namo? The first Mansa of Mandin, the very first, Namo. He is the ancestor of Konde, Namo. He is Don Samoga Diara, Namo. The Konde ancestor Don Samoga Diara, Namo. The Ma'an Solokan from whom he descended, Namo, it was this Ma'an Solankan who sired 4 sons, Namo, and 3 daughters, Namo. Of the 4 sons, Namo, the first son was Don Samoga Diara, Namo. The next to him was Sekus Diara, Namo. The next to that was Mahfadu Diara, Namo. The next to that was Kiri Diara, Namo. Those are the 4 sons, Namo. Of the 3 daughters, Namo, the first daughter is Do Kamisa, Namo. Turama'an came here because of the killing of Do Kamisa's buffalo wraith, Namo. Otherwise, the Turama'ans are from Morocco, Namo. Turama'an's ancestors came from Morocco, Namo. The second daughter is Taninba Konde, Namo, the Fakoli that we talk about, Namo. If you hear Soma Tananba's son Fakoli, Namo, she reared Fakoli. She did not give birth to him, Namo. It was a Kante woman who gave birth to Fakoli, Namo. But it was the Tanimba Konde who brought him up, Namo. She said they should call him Soma Tanimba's son Fakoli, Namo. That she was his more because she helped him with Dalilu, Namo. That is the second daughter of our ancestor, Namo. The third daughter is Sogolan Wole Konde, Namo. This woman gave birth to the Sunjata that you asked about, Namo. After Sunjata was born, Namo, the far of that Sunjata, Namo, Magan Kanfara, Namo, who were his ancestors, Namo. One of them was Mamadi Kani, who also sired 4 sons, Namo. He sired Kani Simbo, Namo. He sired Kani Nyonga Simbo, Namo. He sired Kabbalah Simbo, Namo. He sired Big Simbo Madi Tanyagati, Namo. Tanyagati, Namo. He had 4 sons, and our Konde ancestor had 4 sons, Namo. Kani Simbon's descendants are the people known as Kulubali, Namo. Kulubali is the first son of Mandin, Namo. The next to that is Kanate, Namo. The next to that is Duano, Namo. The next to that came the Mansare, who are known as Keita, Namo. The 7 Mande kings who ruled Mandin, Namo. The first of those kings was the Konde ancestor Don Samogo Deara, Namo. He fought to gain the Mande kingship, Namo. He loved Mandin, Namo. He built Mandin, Namo. Those of you who say you are Konde, you have power, Namo. The next in the leadership of Mandin was the Kulabali's ancestor, Kani Simbo, Namo. Kani Simbon ruled Mandin and made it prosperous, Namo. He improved Mandin without going to war, Namo. You cannot point to anyone who fought against Kulabali, Namo. He ruled and was able to improve Mandin, Namo. To the end of his reign, he never fought with anyone, Namo. The next to that was the Kamara ancestor, Tabon Wana Faran Kamara of Sibi Mountain, Namo. That is the Kamanjan you were talking about, Namo. You heard it, Namo. He did well with Mandin and made it prosper, Namo. Anyone who rebelled against his rule would be captured and brought back into line, Namo. He was never captured or defeated in war, Namo. No battle commander ever captured the Kulabali ancestor Kani Simbom, Namo. No war leader ever captured the Konde ancestor Don Somoga Diara, Namo. If you are narrating a history, tell it the way it happened, Namo. From the time my eyes were first opened up to now, Namo. None of our elders has ever told us, Namo. that these people were captured by any battle commander. Namo. The next to that is the ancestor of Danaba, Tenin Mansa Konkan of Kirina. Namo. He descended from Kamisoko. Namo. He also did well with Mandan. Namo. From beginning to end of his reign, he was the walking stick that Mandan leaned on. Namo. You heard it. The Kamisoko are in Kirina. Namo. The Kono of Kirina are their descendants. Namo. Next to that is the Tunkara ancestor, Faran Tunkara of Kuntunya. Namo. When Ma'an, Sunjata, and Mandin Bori disappeared, Namo, during their exile, that is where they were seen. Namo. Maybe we will soon come to that. Namo. The next one is the Kante ancestor, Soso Bali Somaworo. Namo. He is the sixth Mansa. Namo. You heard it. All those who I have just counted, Namo. No battle commander ever captured them. Namo. After they made their laws and decrees that brought progress to Mandin. Namo. After they united so they could combine their strength. Namo. All of these kings. Namo. When it was time for one of them to rule, Namo, the 7 regions would unite. Namo. They would help him with his kingship. Namo. Up to the end of his reign. Namo. But for war to break out, Namo, it was because of Soso Bali Somaworo. Namo. You heard it. Soso Bali Somaworo is the 6th Mansa of Mandin. Namo. The 7th Mansa was Ma'an Sunjata. Namo. But if we had started with Ma'an Sunjata, Namo, if we do not narrate some of the other episodes, Namo, then we have left out half of Mandin. Namo. If you hear that Sunjata was made Mansa, Namo, that Sunjata got power at the time those things happened. Namo. Ma'an Sunjata's far was a Mansa. Namo. After the reigns of all those other people, it is God who chooses from amongst the people. Namo. Now, in the meeting that took place, Namo, the country was put in the care of Magan Kanfara. Namo. This is about how Sunjata was born. Namo. When Mandan was put in the care of Magan Kanfara, Namo, he had the power. Namo. He had the wealth. Namo. He was popular. Namo. He had Dalilu. Namo. But he had no child. Namo. You heard it? Namo. Simbon Sunjata's far had no child. Namo. He craved a child. Namo. His friends had begun to have children. Namo. But no child was had by Magan Kanfara. Namo. But his Dalilu had now shown. Namo. His Mori had said. Namo. His sand diviners had said. Namo. His pebble diviners had said. Namo. Simbon, you will sire a child who will be famous. Namo. You heard it? Namo. Everybody he consulted said the same thing. Namo. But tried to marry a light-skinned woman. Namo. They told him, Magan Kanfara. Namo. Marry a light-skinned woman. Namo. If you marry a light-skinned woman, Namo, she will give birth to the child that has been foreseen. Namo. Because of his power, he married 9 light-skinned women. Namo. Aside from Flaba Nabi, he still did not sire a child. Namo. He was perplexed. Namo. If you say that you want to know about Sunjata, Namo, what Sunjata's far had to endure, Namo, the people of Mandan had to endure, Namo, from the last Wednesday of the month of Jomene, Namo, to the same time the following year, Namo, he did not sire a child, Namo. He sent the Mori back into retreat, Namo. He told them, I am in need of a child, so do your best, Namo. The child that has been foreseen, Namo. It is said that if I sire it, Namo, it will rule Mandan, Namo. I must sire this child, Namo. They went back into retreat, Namo. All of the Mori were present, Namo. They came back and told him, Namo. They said, Simbon, Namo. Marry somebody who is a mulatto, Namo. You heard it? Namo. He also married 9 of those mulatto women, Namo. Aside from Marabajan Tarawale, Namo, none of them gave birth, Namo. From that time of the year to the same time the following year, Namo. Those women who were with him in the house, Namo, but they never bore any male children, Namo. Simbon was frustrated, Namo. You heard it, Namo. He sent the Mori back into retreat. He said to them, Tell me the truth, Namo. If you see that I will not have any children, tell me, Namo. This is something that only God can provide. It cannot be brought in the market, Namo. This time they said, Namo, very well, marry a black woman, Namo. There is a woman who is black, but her heart is white, Namo. This time he married 9 black women, Namo. Aside from Nyuma, Damba, Magasuba, Namo, none of them bore any children, Namo. It was difficult for Sunjata to be born, Namo. You heard it, Namo. Magan Kanfara was frustrated, Namo. They told him again, Namo, very well, man, Namo. Free one of your slave girls and marry her, Namo. In those days, they still practiced slavery, Namo. He liberated 9 slave girls, Namo, aside from Janmusoni Manyan. Namo. None of them bore any children. Namo. Simbo was frustrated. Namo. When the last Wednesday of Jomene arrived, Namo, he gathered together the people of Confera. Namo. You heard it, Namo. Namo. When the people of Confera had gathered, Namo, he separated into groups the Mari, the sand diviners and the pebble diviners. Namo. He sent them all into retreat. Namo. He said, I told you not to hesitate, Namo. If you see that I will have no child, tell me, Namo. Go inside the house. If you do not tell me the truth, Namo, I will kill all of you and replace you, Namo. When they came out of retreat, they told him, Namo, Simbon, you will sire a child, Namo. Make one of your Jilumusa happy. Marry her so she will give birth, Namo. He made 9 Jilamuso happy, Namo. But aside from Tunka Manya Dewara, Namo, none of them ever gave birth, Namo. All of Mandan became frustrated, Namo. It is hard to give birth to a child who will be famous, Namo. When all of Mandan became frustrated, Namo, the diviners became ashamed of themselves, Namo. They held a meeting with themselves and swore an oath, Namo. Anybody who has broken a taboo should confess it, Namo. Maybe this is our fault, Namo. If we do not get together and tell this man the truth, Namo, the feet of our descendants will not be able to even break an egg in Mandan, Namo. You heard it, Namo. They went back into retreat and came back out, Namo. They told Simbon, Namo. They said, someone will come from the east, Namo. He will be coming from the land of the white-skinned people, Namo. That has been revealed to us, Namo. The problem of your childlessness, Namo. Let him pray to God for a solution to your problem, Namo. If you let him pray to God on the matter of your son, Namo, anything he tells you will have been agreed upon by God, Namo. We will not be able to accomplish it, Namo. It is a benevolent man that God has shown to us. Whilst they waited there in Ferakoro, Namo, Manje Barete arrived, Namo. Now the first Muslim leader of Mandan, Namo, who opened the door on the people of Mandan, Namo, was Manjan Barete, Namo. He is the ancestor of the Barete in Mandan, Namo. The home of the Barete people is Ferisini Hijaji, Namo. In the land of Mecca, Namo. Ferisi is the name of a region, Namo. It is the home of the Barete. They are Soraka, Namo. Manjan Barete came, Namo. He took his lodgings with Simbon, Namo. He said, you need the religion practiced in my homeland, Namo. The Prophet has said nobody should take up swords in the religion again, Namo. That we should now be gentle with one another, Namo. Let us win people over by kindness, Namo. So we can awaken their minds and they can join the religion, Namo. For anyone who does that, the blessings will be great, Namo. Barete packed up some books and came from Farisi, Namo. He would come to the land of Mandan because it was a powerful place. If he found someone who would join him in the land of Mandan, Namo, who would work with the Quran, Namo, his blessings would be great, Namo. When Manjan Barete came and met Simbom's, Namo, he brought with him his little sister, Namo, because they could not adjust to the food here, Namo. He brought his sister so she could prepare his food, until he became acquainted with the Mande people, Namo. That is why Sansun Barete came with him, Namo. When they came and took up lodgings with Simbon, he welcomed them, Namo. After Simbon welcomed them, Namo, his wife Jonmusoni Manyan went to him and said, Simbon. She said, the man who was described by your diviners. Namo, it seems to me that this is the man. Namo, because from the day of his arrival until today, Namo. When it was 2 o'clock, he would wash his feet and pray, Namo. When it was 4 o'clock, he would wash his feet and pray, Namo. When it was 7 o'clock, he would wash his feet and pray, Namo. When it is 8 o'clock, I can hear him praying in his room, Namo. Get closer to this man, Namo. You see yourself sitting here idly, Namo. Do not allow every stranger to flow past you like a river, Namo. A citizen's well-being arrives in the form of a stranger. Magan Kanfara went to Karamogo Barate. He observed that whenever the Karamogo was drinking fresh milk, Namo, he was so clean that the milk could be seen flowing down his throat, Namo. He said to him, Karamogo, forgive me, Namo. It has been a long time since you arrived, but I have now come to greet you, Namo. You came and found me troubled, Namo. Magan Kanfara said, come here and I will show you the cause of my worry, Namo. Taking the teacher by the hand, he opened his gate and showed him all his barren wives, Namo. He said, you see this number of women, Namo. Amongst them are light-skinned women. There are black-skinned women, bards, and slaves, Namo. Before you came, your arrival was foretold. Pray to God for me, so that I can sire a son, Namo. Barete had come so that his kind could be known. He was devoted to his faith and he had never violated a taboo. Namo. Magan Kafara was pleased. Namo. Barete went into retreat and prayed to God. Namo. God replied to him, saying the man should marry a woman with the same totem as the Barete. Namo. If he marries a woman with the same totem as the Karamogo, Namo, he will sire a child. Namo. Oh, what was his totem? Namo. God said, you came and saw them and they were not praying. Namo. They told him, you must marry the daughter of someone who prays. Namo. When Simbon was told this, Namo, once he had been told, Namo, Magan Kafera said, ah, Karamogo, I am very fortunate. Namo. You heard it? Namo. The promise that I made to pray, Namo, being occupied with my chiefly duties, that has resulted in lack of respect for that promise. Namo. From the time that you arrived up to now, you have prayed at every prayer time. Namo. But you did not meet me in prayer. Namo. Perhaps my totem wife is amongst those now within the yard. Maybe. Namo. Maybe we are related through marriage. Namo. Magan Kafara said, since you have come, you are my totem. Your little sister who accompanied you here, Namo, please give her to me. Namo. The Karamogo said, I cannot do that. Namo. Magan Kafara said, why will you not do that? He said, Namo. He said, we cannot come from white to black. Namo. You heard it. Namo. We are Barete. Namo. It was our ancestors who planted a date farm for the Prophet at Mecca. Namo. That was the beginning of our family identity. Namo. When the date farm was planted for the Prophet, he blessed our ancestor. Namo. He said everyone should leave us alone. Namo. Be anu ta ye. And that is why they call us Barete. Namo. No man of Mandan will tell you, Namo, that we originated the Barete name, the family identity. Namo. It was the Prophet who said we should be set apart. Namo. That nobody's foolishness should trouble us. Namo. Be anu to ye. Everyone should leave us alone. Namo. Thus we became the Barete. Namo. From that time up to today. Namo. We have not done anything other than the Prophet's business. Namo. This place has already become impious because of Namo, because of your lack of attention to Islam. Namo. So how can I give you my little sister? Namo. I did not come from Farisi for that purpose, so I will not give you my little sister. Namo. Ah, said Simbo, give her to me. Namo. If you want wealth, I will give you wealth. Namo. You heard it. Namo. If you do not give her to me, Namo, I will take her for myself. Namo. Because you are not in your home, you are in my home. Namo. When Manjan Barete was told this, he said, Namo, if you take my sister for yourself, I will go back to Farisi. Namo. I will go and get Saraka warriors to come and destroy Mandan. Namo. If you take my little sister by force. Namo. Simbon said, you just do that. Namo. If you go back to Farisi to get warriors, Namo, you might come and destroy Mandan. Namo. But by then you still will be pregnant. Namo. I will have a child by then. Namo. Even if I die, it will still be my child. Namo. You heard it. Namo. He said, I have taken her. Namo. He took her. Namo. If you call for wealth, I will give you wealth. Namo. If you call for the sword, I will agree to that. Namo. I have the power, you have no power, you are in my place. Namo. Manjan Barete packed up his books and went back to Farisi. Namo. He went and told his fathers and brothers. Namo. The man Mansa that I went to visit. Namo. He has used his chiefly power to take my little sister from me. Namo. His fathers and brothers said, Ah, Manjan Barete. Namo. Your youth has betrayed you. Namo. You carry the sacred book. Namo. You have been looking for someone. Namo. To help you with the work of the sacred book. Go back and tell the Mandai people. Namo. Tell Simbon that if he is in love with your younger sister, you will give him both her and the book. Namo. Tell him, if you convert and become another like me, Namo, so that we can proselytize together, Namo, I will give you my younger sister, Namo. But if you refuse to convert, I will go for my warriors, Namo. If he does not convert, come back and we will give you warriors, Namo. If he agrees to convert, that is what you went for, Namo. Manjan Barate returned to Ferakoro, Namo. After he explained to Simbon, Namo, Magan Confera said, what your father said that your youth betrayed you is true, Namo. If you had done what he said in the first place, you would not have returned to Pharisee. Namo. All I want is a child, no matter what the cost. Namo. I agree to what you propose. Namo. Since you have requested that I convert, Namo. I agree. Namo. They shaved his head, and together they read the Quran. Namo. After reading the Quran, Namo, Manjan Barate gave his little daughter to Magan Kanfera. Namo. His sister was called Sansun Barete. Namo. You heard it, Namo. It was this Sansum Barete, Namo, who bore the first son called Dankara Tuma, Namo. He was the older than Ma'an Sunjata, Namo. You heard it, Namo. After she bore that one son, she had a daughter who was called Nana Chiban, Namu. She only gave birth to that one son and that one daughter, Namu. After sighing those two children, Simbon became troubled again, Namu. Simbon said, Karamogo, Namu, go back into retreat, Namu. The son that was foretold, Namu. If it is your nephew, let me know, Namu. If it is not him, let me know, Namu. We should not lie to one another, Namu. Manjambarete went into retreat, Namu. He prayed to God, Namu. God revealed to him that this was not the son that was foretold, Namu. He came out and told Simbon that the son who was foretold, when he was born, a trumpet would be blown, and his name would never disappear, Namu. He said, this is not the son, Namu. Simbon said, how do I get that son, Namu? Pray to God for me to have this son, Namu. Will I get that son? Yes, you will get that son, Namu. Very well, pray to God for that, Namu. Manjambarate prayed to God, Namu. He said, Simbon, you will get this child, Namu. What God revealed to me when I was praying to God, Namu, is that there are others like me who will come, Namu. They too will come from the land of the white skins, Namu. Barete said, when those people come, they will not bring any woman with them, Namu, but the place that they will name as their destination, Namu. If you give them a message, they will bring you a woman from that place, Namu. She will bear that child, Namu. Abdul Karimi and Abdul Kasimu came to Mandan, Naamu. From Morocco they walked through the night, Namu. The following day they walked all day, Naamu. In the evening of that day, Namu, they were already under the 3 Nikiliki trees of Mandan, Namu. Those 3 Nikiliki trees, Naamu, when the people used to come from Doni Kiri, Namu, from the home of the Konde, Namu, they used to rest there, Namu. Those who used to come from Mandan, Namu, from the home of the Mansare, Naamu, they used to rest there, Namu. Those who used to come from Negeboria, Namu, from the homes of the Koroma, Namu, they used to rest there, Naamu. Those who used to come from Soso, Naamu, from the home of the Kante, Namu, they used to rest there, Namu. People would get news of the world there, Namu. When Abdul Karimi and Abdul Kasimu came there, Naamu, they measured out their food, Namu. They cooked their meal, Namu. They ate and slept there, Naamu. They worried, Namu. Abdul Karimi and Abdul Kasimu were Arab Kamalanwe, Naamu. They did not know where to go from there, Namu. They went to where some traders had left their cooking pots, Namu. After eating, the Arab Kamalanwe said, let us lie down here, Naamu. Let us wait for these traders to return, Namu. We will soon learn our next destination, Namu. Whilst they were sleeping, some traders who were on their way from Mandan arrived, Namu. Some also arrived from Negaboria, home of the Koroma, Naamu. They greeted one another, Namu. The Arab Kamalanwe asked, is everything all right with the people of Mandan? Naamu. The traders replied, there is nothing wrong with them, Namu. The Kamalanwe asked, is everything all right with the Koroma of Negeboria? Naamu. The traders said, nothing is troubling them, Namu. They too measured out their food, Naamu. Then they went to sleep, Namu. Whilst they were lying there, Namu, some traders who were on their way from Soso arrived, Naamu. The traders who had gone to Doni Kiri and found it in turmoil, Namu. They came back, Namu. They all met in that place, Naamu. They said to Abdul Karimi and Abdul Kasimu, where are you from? Namu. The Kamalanwe said, we are from Morocco, Namu. They asked, where are you going? Naamu. The Kamalanwe replied, we are on our way to the land of the Konde, Naamu, but we do not know the way, Naamu. The trader said, the Mansa of Doni Kiri, Don Samogo Diara, Namu. It is he and his sister who are quarreling. You heard it, Namu. I just told you about the first daughter of Ma'an Solonkan, Naamu, called Don Kamisa, Namu. She and her brother, Namu, Don Samoga Diara, Namu. They had quarreled over the issue of the legacy left by Ma'an Solokan, Naamu. They did not agree, Namu. You heard it, Namu. Don Kamisa said, Namu. Don Samoga Diara, Naamu. If you refuse to share the property with me, Namu, I will take it myself, Namu. The Konde elder said to her, go and try to take a share for yourself. You are too headstrong, Naamu. She said, shall I take it for myself? They said, yes, Namu. She went out of the town, Namu. She went to stay in a agrarian hamlet, Naamu. They did not know that she had the power, Namu, to transform herself into different things, Namu. the 12 towns of Do, Namo, the 4 towns of Kiri, Namo, the 6 towns on the other side of the river, Namo. This is what is known as Doni Kiri, Naamo. You heard it, Naamo. At the break of day, Namo, the buffalo that she transformed herself into, Namo, would kill people in all of those places, Naamo. It had become a bad time, Namo. Don Samogo, Diara said, Naamo, the buffalo has killed all of the hunters that I sent for from Mandin, Namo. You heard it, Naamo. He sent a message to the Koroma of Negaboria, but the buffalo killed all the hunters who came, Namo. He sent for the hunters of Soso, but when they came, the buffalo killed them all, Namo. Don Samoga Diara was at a loss, Naamo. He sent out the word from Doni Kiri, Namo. Don Samoga Diara said, people have died because of me, Naamo. Anyone who kills this buffalo, Namo. 3 age sets of the girls of Doni Kiri, Naamo. Well, I will display them to the person. Any one of them chosen by that person will become his wife, Namo. Everybody who visited Doni Kiri was informed of this, Naamo. When the traders returned to the camp under the Nikili tree, they told the travelers about the turmoil in Doni Kiri, Namo. They said the quarrel with their sister has resulted in many deaths, Naamo. Hunger has come to Kiri because no one can go in or out, Namo. The paths to the village have been closed, the paths to their farms have been closed, Naamo. There is no way for agrarian crops to be brought home, Namo. The buffalo is blocking the way, Naamo. The Conde say that anyone who kills this buffalo, Namo, they will bring out 3 sets of their girls to you, Namo. That anyone you choose will become your wife, Namo. You heard it, Naamo. The trader said things in Doni Kiri have become very bad, Namo. The Arab Kamalanwe were still camped there, Namo. The younger brother Abdul Karimi said, Big brother, do you hear, Namo? Do you hear what they are saying, Namo? Abdul Kasimu replied, I hear it, Naamo. They said, let us go to the near Kiri. The elder brother said, Hey, little brother, Namo. What about these things they are talking about, Naamo? Suppose the buffalo kills us, Namo. Abdul Karimi replied, if the buffalo kills us, it will be for the sake of the Conde, Namo. He said, they are having a bad time in Doni Kiri, Naamo. I feel sympathy for them, Naamo. The ancestors of those Conde, Namo. The ancestors Samasuna, Naamo. Our fathers told us that before the prophet could make any progress, Naamo, God told him to fight at Kebara, no matter how difficult the fight at Doni Kiri will be. The battle of Kebara was further difficult than that, Naamo. The Conde the Conde we are talking about, Namo. Their ancestor Samasuna, Naamo. He took 1,000 of his sons, Namo, to go and help our ancestors fight at the battle of Kebara, Naamo. He lost all 1,000 of his sons, Namo. Still speaking, Abdul Karimi said, those Conde, Naamo, the 1,000 sons that the ancestor Samasana gave, Namo. They all remained on the battleground of our ancestors' war at Kebara, Namo. But if the 2 of us should die for the sake of the Conde, Naamo, will that equal 1,000 men, Namo? If death approaches, Naamo, die for a benevolent cause, Namo. We do not equal 1,000 men, Namo. But if we should die for the sake of the Conde, Namo, we will do what the 1,000 men did, Naamo. Let us go to Doni Kiri. If we should retreat after hearing that the Conde are suffering, Namo, and those ancestors suffered at Kebara for our sake, Naamo, then we are bastards, Namo. Abdul Karimi encouraged his elder brother, Naamo. Abdul Kasuma now had the courage to go to Donir Kiri, Namo. They packed their belongings and went straight to Konfara, Naamo. They bypassed Doni Kiri and went straight to Mandin, Namo. When they arrived, Manjambarati was sitting, Namo, in a circle near Magan Kanfara, Namo. They were playing Wari, Namo. Manjambarati was sitting in the circle near Simbon with prayer beads in his hands, Namo. He was praying to God. May God not let me be embarrassed by my prediction, Namo. They remained sitting when they saw the 2 men coming, Namo. When those people arrived, Namo, they met in that same circle, Namo. They stopped playing Wari, Namo. Abdul Karimi said, my respected Karamogo, Namo. I have come to God and I have come to you. What makes one walk fast will make one talk fast, Namo. We have come to God, we have come to the Mande people, we have come to Simbon, Namu. After the greetings, the Mande people asked them, where did you come from? The Arab Kamalanwe said, we come from Morocco, Naamu. The Mande people asked them, "What is your family?" Namu. "We are Shirufu." Na'amu. The Mande people saluted them, "You Hadara." Namu. Kamalanwe replied, "Marahaba." Namu. The Mande people said, "The honor is yours. The honor is Simbon's." Na'amu. The Arab Kamalanwe said, "We come from Morocco. We are children of Abdullah Sharifu. We are descendants of Sayyidina Ali." Na'amu. You heard it? Namu. The Kamalanwe explained, "We have heard that the Kande are suffering, Namu, that they are quarreling with their sister. She has transformed herself into a buffalo. Every Matan in the 12 towns of Do, the 4 towns of Kiri, Namu, and the 6 towns across the river, Namu. The buffalo has been killing people in all of them." Na'amu, they said, "That is why we have come." Namu. "We want to go to Doni Kiri, Namu. We want to go and help the Kande with their trouble. Na'amu. We want you to perform the sand divination for us, Namu. If our sand is sweet, Na'amu, we will go to Doni Kiri, Namu. And if our sand is not sweet, Namu, we will go to Doni Kiri. Namu. Simbon chuckled, Namu. He said, "Oh my men." He said, "Manhood is in the mouth, Namu. If a man does not notice what you are saying, he might attack you, Na'amu. Ayo, if the sand is sweet, you will go, Namu. If the sand is not sweet, you will go, Namu." They said, "Aha, we will still go, Namu." Simbon said, "Ah, blessings upon you, Na'amu." He gave them lodgings in a house, Namu. Simbon left the strangers in their house. He went into his room and spread the sand, Na'amu. He spread and spread and spread and said the words over it, Namu. He said, "If these boys are the source I have been told about, Namu. If they go to the Doni Kiri, will they kill the buffalo? Namu. Let the sand be sweet, Na'amu." When he spread the sand, he saw that the sand was sweet for them, Namu. Alone in his room, he spread the sand 3 times, Namu. When the sand was sweet, Na'amu, he sent for the boys. He said, "Come here, Na'amu, come and let me spread the sand in your presence, Namu." When the sand was spread, Na'amu, Abdul Karimi was pleased, Namu. Simbon told them, "Na'amu, you Sharifu, Namu." He said, "Your sand is benevolent, Na'amu." He said, "Your sand is sweet, but there are some sacrifices to be made, Na'amu." They said, "What sacrifice is that?" He said, "There is a sacrifice, and the sacrifice is a complicated one, Namu." They asked, "What is the sacrifice?" Na'amu, he said, "Offer 3 pods of peanuts. Go and pick some old straw out of a roof, Namu. Light it on fire and roast the peanuts, Namu. Call the little children to come, Namu. Whilst the children are eating them, Namu, you should be standing nearby with your quiver of arrows. When the children are finished eating the peanuts, let them stand up and say, 'May God answer this sacrifice.' You respond to that with Amina, Namu. By the grace of God, the sand will be sweet, Na'amu. I will offer the peanuts, Namu." He made the peanut offering, Namu. He set them out in 3 piles, Namu. He went to his wife's cookhouse, Namu. He picked up the old thatch out of the roof, Namu. He lit it on fire, Namu. As the peanuts were roasting, Namu, the hunters were preparing themselves, Na'amu. People of early times did not carry much baggage, Namu. When they were finished dressing, Namu, they went and stood near the little children, Namu. When the children were finished eating the peanuts, Namu. As the children were about to disperse, the hunter said, "May God answer this sacrifice." As the hunters were leaving, Namu, Magan Kanfara said, "You Sharifu, Na'amu." He said, "The Kande foresee that anybody who kills this buffalo, Namu, that they will present 3 sets of girls to that person, Na'amu, and anyone you choose will be your wife, Namu. When you go, you will kill the buffalo, Namu. When they bring the young girls to you, Namu, you should present me with a wife, Namu. What if you said that to someone and they did not bring the wife, Na'amu?" The arrogant young brother, Abdul Karima, said, "Namu, I will not answer him. I am looking for a wife for my elder brother, Namu." You heard it, Na'amu. They departed, Namu. When they had passed through the land of Kanfara, Na'amu, when they crossed into the land of the Kande, Namu, after they had walked for 1 kilometer, Namu, they met a woman who had borne one child, Namu. Just as the female genie had told them, Namu, she had said, "You will not see me again, Na'amu, but the advice I give you, Namu, if you do not heed it, the buffalo will kill you, Na'amu." When they met this woman who had borne 1 child, Namu, after they greeted her, Namu, she spoke abusively to them, Na'amu. She said, "Hey, is it the woman who should greet first, or is it the man? Namu. You do not pass by a beautiful woman without greeting her. Na'amu. She said every impossible bad word to them. Namu. They said, Miba. Namu. They said, we are children of the road. Na'amu. We do not know anything about women. We do not know anything about men. Namu. We have never been to this country. We speak to everyone we meet so they can give us help. Na'amu. She said, I am the one who is supposed to give you help. Namu. They passed on by her. Na'amu. They did not quarrel with her. Namu. After they passed that one, Namu. After walking 1 kilometer, Namu. They met the full-breasted girl, Namu. When they met this one, Namu. They said, Lady, we greet you, Namu. God is great. Namu. She abused them. She's Namu. She said every bad word to them. Na'amu. The younger brother said, Namu. You do not understand. A beautiful woman like you will pass by a man like that. Namu. You do not know what is happening. Namu. No matter how proud a girl is, once you call her beautiful, she will soften. Namu. They went on their way. Humility truly comes only with death, but men act humble until they get what they want. Namu. After they passed by her, she went on her way. Namu. After walking on for another kilometer, Namu. When they heard the pounding of the clay and pestles of Donikiri, Namu. They met Do Kamisa herself, Na'amu. She carried a hoe on her shoulder, Namu. A walking staff served as her third leg, Na'amu. When they said, Greetings more, Namu. Hey, she cursed their far, Namu. After that, she cursed their grandfather, Na'amu. Then she cursed their more, Namu. You are calling me more, Namu. Was I the one who gave you birth to your far or your more, Na'amu? She said every bad word to them, Namu. Abdul Karimi said, Big brother, Na'am. Don't you think that this lady resembles our more, Namu? Abdul Kasimu replied, Hey, this lady does resemble our more, Na'amu. Everything she is doing to us seems familiar, Namu. Abdul Karimi said, The manner in which our own more abuses us, Namu. This is the way she abuses us, Na'amu. Hey, look at the way she walks, as if she were our more, Namu. Abdul Kasimu said, Ma, where are you going, Namu? She said, Do I have to explain anything to you, Na'amu? I'm going to look for termites to feed my chickens, Namu. Abdul Karimi said, Big brother, hold my bag, Namu. He reached out to take the hoe from the old woman, Namu. He said, Give me your hoe. I will dig termites for your chickens, Namu. She replied, When I look for termites, are you the one who always feeds my chickens? Na'amu. If you don't let go of my hoe, Namu. What are you looking for from me? You will get soon, Na'amu. You heard it, Namu. They scuffled over the hoe until he took it from the old lady, Namu. When he got the hoe from her, he dug for termites, Namu. Put them in a bag and loaded them on his head, Namu. The older brother, Abdul Kasuma, had his baggage, Namu. He said, Let us go, Namu. When they got some distance ahead of the woman, Namu, Abdul Karimi said, Big brother, Namu. The thing that the female genie told us, Na'amu, let us be careful because she said that this is the buffalo, Namu. The way that the old woman looks, Namu. Let us watch her carefully, Namu. Let us walk briskly. Na'amu. If we leave her behind, Namu, it will mean that the person we are looking for is still ahead of us. If we do not leave her behind, Namu, then we can believe that this is the buffalo we were told about, Namu. The two men walked very briskly, Namu. The old woman was still behind them, Na'amu. As they walked, they would look back and see the old woman behind them, Namu. The younger brother said, Didn't I tell you she is the one, Na'amu? You heard it, Namu. When they reached the road to Donikiri, Namu, the road leading to her hamlet branched off to the right. The road to Donikiri branched off to the left, Namu. When they started to take the big road to Donikiri, Namu, she said, Where are you going with my termites, Namu? Then they knew for sure, Namu. She said, Don't you know what happened between me and the men of Donikiri, Na'amu? So why did you take my hoe from me, Namu? If the termites belong to me, why are you taking that road, Namu? Don't you see my road, Namu? They went on that road. When they arrived there, God caused Ma Sogolon's sister Do Kamisa to soften towards them, Namu. They were now in Donikiri, Na'amu. Everybody who had come to kill the buffalo was dead, Namu. Every hunter who came, Namu. A bird that was near the swamp, Namu, would call Tume, Tume, Namu. That was the buffalo woman's spy, Namu. even up to mañana, it is still acting as their spy. Na'amu. Even if you go into the swamp in the middle of the night, you will hear it saying, someone is here. Na'amu. As soon as the bird called Tume, Tume, the buffalo would go out and kill them. Namu. You heard it? Na'amu. Many wild creatures were on her side. Namu. She had a wild cat. Namu. The wild cat and the tree squirrel. Na'amu. They were stealing the Conde's chickens. Namu. You heard it? Na'amu. The leopard and the hyena. Na'amu. They were stealing the Conde's cattle. Namu. They attacked all of our livestock. Na'amu. The quarrel had now reached a critical stage. Nam. Dode, Kamisa, and the genies were also attacking the people of Donikiri. Namu. This buffalo had now made widows of many women. Namu. This buffalo had now caused many men to lose their wives. Namu. This buffalo had caused many family heads to lose their children. Na'amu. This buffalo had killed all the sisters. Na'amu. You heard it. Nam. Whilst that was happening, the Arab Kamalanwe arrived. Namu. After they greeted our ancestors, Don Somogo Diara. Namu. He asked them, how did you get here? They asked, thanks to God. Namu. He said, where did you come from? Na'amu. We come from Morocco. Don Somogo Diara asked them, what is your family name? Namu. The Kamalanwe replied, we are Serifu. Na'amu. Don Somogo Diara saluted them, Yuhadara. Namu. They replied, Ma'arahaba. Don Somogo Diara said, why have you come here? Na'amu. Have you not heard about the terrible trouble here? Namu. You heard it. Na'amu. He said, have you not heard that my sister Dokimisa has killed my people? Namu. Should it be said that Sharifu wasted their blood in the land of the Conde? Na'amu. You Sharifu. I am not pleased with your coming here. Na'am. I am not pleased to see you here. Na'amu. They said, Allah. Namu. Don Somogo Diara said, very well. If it is God who has sent you, Namu. Do not go into the bush. Namu. Stay in town and I will assemble my children. Namu. I'll give them to you so you can teach them. Na'amu. Do not go into the bush. Namu. I do not want this country cursed because a Sharif dies on my land. Na'amu. Donikiri must not be cursed. Namu. The Arab Kamalanwe said, very well. They were given lodgings in a house. Namu. The buffalo woman was somewhere else. Na'amu. Praise be to God. Namu. Out of the Kamalanwe were settled in a house. Namu. After 1 day, 2 days, their hosts killed a chicken for them. Namu. When the chicken was killed for them, they put the sauce on the rice. Namu. They took a thigh of the chicken, Namu, and the backbone, Namu, and put that in the saucepan, Namu. They went out the back door and took them to the bad old lady in the bush, Namu. She was the buffalo, Na'amu. When they got there, they said, Ma, Namu. Did we not both tell you that you resemble our Moor? Na'amu. They said, for God's sake, we cannot contradict ourselves. You do resemble our Moor, Namu. Hey, when we were separated from you, we didn't want to. We came to town and your brother killed a chicken for us, Namu. When we are in Morocco and kill a chicken, Namu, what we give to our Moor is the back, Namu. What goes to our far is the thigh, Namu. Our Moor are far, Namu. You are all, Na'amu. What goes to our far, Namu. What goes to our Moor, Namu. It is all yours, Namu. She reached out her hand and took that and the sauce, and then she withdrew it at them, Namu. She said, for what reason did you bring the termites? Na'amu. When you brought the termites, was it not for the chickens? Namu. When you left, did I tell you I had a craving for chicken meat? Na'amu. Shufu, stop trying to get what you want from me, Namu. You are being stubborn, Na'amu. What are you doing to me now, Namu? If it had not been for the relations between the Sharifu and the Conde, Namu, what I have done to others, I would have done to you, Namu. Won't you leave me alone, Na'amu? I am talking to you, Namu. The Kamalanwe took the sauce and returned to town, Namu. 1 day, 2 days, Namu. Another chicken was killed for them. They did the same thing as before and took the portions to her, Namu. She took them and gave them to the dogs. Na'amu, and repeated the same words that she said before, Namu. They went back to town, Na'amu. 1 day, 2 days, Namu. The Conde killed another chicken, Namu. The Kamalanwe repeated the deed, Namu. When they came and met her, Namu. She took the chicken parts and put them on the shelf, Na'amu. She spoke to them the words that were in her mouth, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. She said, I know you are strangers, Nam. Have you not yet spoken with some local people? Namu. Ah, they said, old woman, we have talked with some natives. Naamu. She herself was reluctant to tell them that she had killed local people. Namu. But if they had talked to some local people, they would have told them about the mayhem she had caused. Namu. But the Kamalanwe did not let her know this. Naamu. They just said, old woman, we have spoken with some local people. Namu. Ah, she said, didn't they tell you anything? Namu. Ah, they told us that the old woman has gone away. Namu. That she is their sister. Namu. They did not tell us anything else. Naamu. You heard it. Namu. They say their sister who is out of town, Namu, that person from whom they seek blessings, Namu, that she is the one, Namu. They did not tell us anything else, Naamu. We come from Morocco, we don't know anything, Namu. We are looking for blessings from our Moors. Do whatever you want to us, Namu. They went on their way, Namu. You heard it, Namu. If they had said to her, Namu, your brothers say that you have caused them suffering, Namu. You have killed off their people, Namu. She would have thought that they were reproaching her, Naamu. They did not say that, Namu. That is why when you go to some people, Namu, the place where you came from, Namu, what was being done there, Namu, do not report it, Namu. If you report what is being discussed, you will not be able to accomplish your mission, Naamu. The next time a chicken was killed, Namu, the Arab Kamalanwe took the road and went back, Namu. When they met the old lady, they said, Ma, didn't we tell you, Namu? As long as you are here, Naamu, until we finish with our visit here and return home, Namu, we will not eat our Moor's share, Namu. We will not eat our far's share, Namu. There is nobody in this town who will eat your share, Namu. Therefore, to whom should we give these shares, Naamu? When she took from them, they started to leave, Namu. But she said, Sharifu, take your seats, Naamu. They sat down, Namu. Dokemissa, the buffalo woman, said, you have outdone me, Naamu. No one can get the better of people like you, Namu. She said, you are polite, Naamu. You were brought up well, Namu. Despite everything you were told, Namu, you were not discouraged, Naamu. You favor me, Namu. Now I will cooperate with you, Namu. You heard it? Naamu. She said, had it not been for that, we would have wiped out Doni Kire, Namu. My brother Don Somoga Diara, Naamu. I was the firstborn of my father's children, Namu. After I was born, when I reached puberty, Namu, I said, my Lord God, Namu, if my father sires a son, Namu. When anyone tells me that my father has sired a son, Namu, the 2 gold earrings that are on my ears, Namu, I'll give the largest of them to the person who brings me the news, Namu. My Lord God, if my father sires a son, Namu, the first person who brings the news to me, Namu, of the 2 wrappers I am wearing, Namu, I will give the beautiful outer one to that person. I was the first to offer a sacrifice for my brother, Namu. Therefore, should he tell me that women do not receive property, Namu, Naamu, I would have wiped out their lineage, Namu. But you, Sharifu, Namu, you have outdone me, Namu. I will cooperate with you, Namu. I will give you my life, Naamu, for I know that if you kill me, Namu, you will bury me, Naamu. If you kill me, Namu, my body will not go to God as a bad body, Namu. You heard it, Namu. She said, before I give myself up to you, Naamu, I will tell you 3 things, Namu. If you agree to those 3 things, Naamu, then I will cooperate with you, Namu. If you do not agree with those 3 things, Namu, I will keep after you until you do agree to those things, Naamu. The Kamalamwe said, Ma, tell us the 3 things, Namu. She said, the first of those things, Naamu. When you kill the buffalo, Namu, do not go to town immediately, Naamu. Come to this hamlet, Namu. You will come and find me dead, Namu. My brother must not see my corpse, Naamu, because I am the only one who knows what I have done, Namu. But come to this hamlet where you will find me dead, Namu. You will come and see that I have poured water on the fire, Namu. There will be a hoe, Namu. There will also be an axe, Namu. Take the axe and cut down a toro tree, Namu. Take the hoe and dig the grave. After you have laid me in it, fire the musket, Namu. My brother must never see my body, Naamu. They must not carry my body to Doni Kiri, Namu. He is my far son, Namu. I have not been doing benevolent to them. Nam. I have wiped out their children. Namu. I have wiped out their wives. Namu. There are many widows there today. Na'amu. I am responsible for that. Namu. You heard it? Na'amu. That is the first thing. Namu. The second thing is that they had promised Na'amu that anyone who kills me, Namu. They said they will present 3 sets of girls from Donikiri, Namu, and that the one chosen by that person will become his wife, Namu. My second thing is Na'amu. When they bring out their fine young daughters, Namu, do not accept any of them, Namu. Refuse all of them, Na'amu, because my father's lastborn is still in the house, Namu. 8 sets of girls have gone to their husbands, Namu, but she has not married, Namu. If you do not marry her, she will never be married, Namu. Anyone who marries her, something special will be at her breast, Namu. You must marry her, you the Sharifu, Namu. She is very ugly, Namu. Have you not heard that Sogolon is short, Namu? The short Sogolon that you have heard about, Na'amu. Have you not heard that Sogolon is ugly, Namu? The ugliness of Sogolon that you keep hearing about, Namu. She is very ugly, Namu. The duct in her eye is injured and the tears run down, Namu, and I am responsible for that, Namu. Her head is bald, Na'amu. She has a humpback, Na'amu. Ido Kamisa did that, Na'amu. Her feet are twisted, Na'amu. When she walks, she limps this way and that, Namu, and I am the cause of that, Na'amu. How was I the cause, Namu? If you see her damaged tear duct, Na'amu, her bald head, Namu, a hump on her back, Namu, I put my distant seeing mask on her face, Namu, because of my love for her, Na'amu, because before she was old enough to wear it, Namu, that is what cut her tear duct, Na'amu, that is why her hair fell out, Na'amu, that is what put a hump on her back, Na'amu, I am responsible, Na'amu. If she does not get married, Namu, it will be my curse, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. She said, if you see that her feet are twisted, Na'amu, and she is knock-kneed, Namu, I was the cause of that, Namu. I set her on my sorcery horse, Namu, when she was too young, Namu. That is what caused her tendons to be stretched, Na'amu, and her feet to be twisted, Namu. If she does not get married, Namu, it will be my curse, Na'amu. She said, I was the cause of that, Namu. If my sister does not get married, I take the blame for it, Na'amu. Therefore, when you Sharifu come, Namu, and they bring those beautiful Kande women to you, Na'amu, do not accept any of them, Namu. Choose my father's lastborn, Na'amu. The name of the lastborn is Sogolon Wolen Konde, Namu. Some call her Humpback Sogolon, Namu. Some call her Ugly Sogolon, Namu. Everybody used to call her whatever they felt like, Na'amu. But her true name is Sogolon Wolen Konde, Namu. That is who will be the more of Ma'an Sunjata, Na'amu. She said, if you choose her, there will be something special at her breast, because it will have all the Dalilu, Namu. The beautiful daughters that they are talking about, Na'amu. If you take her and are not satisfied with the way she looks, Namu. When you kill the buffalo, cut off its tail, Namu. It is laden with gold and silver, Namu. Because for every woman of Doni Kiri that I killed, Na'amu, if they had gold on their ears, Namu, I would take out the gold earrings, Namu, and attach them to the hair of my tail, Namu. For every woman of Doni Kiri that I killed, Na'amu, those who had silver rings in their ears, Namu. I would take out the silver earrings and attach them to the hair of my tail, Namu. I have a lot of tail hair, and it is laden with gold, Na'amu. The ear jewelry of Doni Kiri women, Namu. Exchange some of that gold, Namu, so you can go and marry a beautiful woman somewhere else, Namu. You can add her to Sogolon Kande, but do not refuse to take her, Namu. That will be no problem, Namu. Will you accept that or not, Namu? The Sharifa said, we agree to that, Na'amu. She said, that is the second thing, Namu. The third one, Na'amu. When you kill the buffalo, Namu, the buffalo's carcass must not be taken to the town, Na'amu. They said, a Kande woman. We have agreed, Namu. We have agreed to the other ones, Namu. But the one that you just said, Na'amu. We may not be able to convince your people about that, Namu. We have no power to fight them off, Namu. To take the carcass from them, Namu. What if they force us, Na'amu? We might not be able to convince them. Namu. The Kande woman said, you will do your best to heed what I have said. Na'amu. If you can do the other things, Namu, leave that one. Namu. But the other two things, Namu, you must respect them. Na'amu. They said, very well, Namu. As they were about to leave, Na'amu, she said to them, sit down, Namu. When they took their seats, Namu, she said, I control my own life. Namu. The weapons you brought, Na'amu, they will not do anything to me, Namu. The arrows and quivers you brought, Namu, those will not do anything, Namu. I am in control of my own life, Namu. She put her hand in her basket and clean cotton, Namu. She pulled out the spindle and handed it to them, Namu. She put her hand in the storage basket, Namu. She took out the small distaff, Namu. She took out the small distaff that usually holds the thread, Namu. She took it and gave it to them, Namu. She said, when you go and finish the buffalo, Namu, put this in your bow and shoot the buffalo with it. Namu, that will stop the buffalo. Na'amu. If you do not shoot the buffalo with that, Namu. If you do not shoot at it with your big arrow, Namu, the buffalo will kill you. Namu. They left the town and went to the bush past the lake of Donikiri, Na'amu. When they passed by the lake, they entered the forest, Namu. They crossed an open space and passed through further forest, Namu. Before they had crossed the next open space, they saw the buffalo, Namu. Now, if you hear people say the name Diabate, Namu, if they say the name Tarawale, Namu, saying those names all started in the bush that day, Namu. Before that, the brother's name was Sharifu, Na'amu. When they came to our land of Mandan, they left their Sharifu identity. Na'amu. They came to be known as Tarawale and Deabate. Na'amu. We will soon come to see the reason for that. Na'amu. The buffalo was there. Namu. The younger brother said to the elder brother, Namu. Abdul Karimi and told Abdul Kasimu, Na'amu. Hey, big brother. He said, big brother, you take the magic dart and shoot it at the buffalo, Na'amu, because the killing of this buffalo will make history, Namu. The person who kills this one, Namu. Up to the time when the trumpet is blown on the judgment day, Namu. This will be told in all the histories of future generations, Na'amu. He said, you kill the buffalo, Namu. Abdul Kasimu said, little brother, Na'amu. When somebody knows something, let him do it, Namu. He said, I was the first to be born, but I know that what Dalilu you have, Namu, and I know you must kill the buffalo, Na'amu. Na'amu. He handed the magic dart to his younger brother, Namu. Abdul Karim told his elder brother to go on ahead, Na'amu. He lay down in the grass and began to crawl. Namu. He went ever closer to the buffalo, remembering what the old woman had told him, Namu, that he should not try to kill the buffalo until he was in its shadow, Na'amu. She had said, do not miss me, Namu. If you miss the buffalo, I will kill you, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. The younger brother called until he reached the buffalo's shadow, Namu. He took out the distaff and put it on the spindle, Namu. He pulled it back and back, Namu. He pulled it still harder, Namu. And he could feel that he had something very powerful in his hand, Namu. You heard it, Namu. When he had pulled it until his hand was back to his shoulder, Namu. He let it go, Pa, Namu. It went and pierced the buffalo here. It went into the chest, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. When the thing pierced its chest, the buffalo was shaken, Namu. When the buffalo shook, it raised its head and saw him, Namu. It bellowed, her, Namu. Even whilst he was still right beside the buffalo, Namu, he told his elder brother, keep going, Na'amu. The buffalo had been pierced and the struggle between them had begun, Namu. A source of greatness will not be acquired without hardship, Na'amu. Before peace could return to Mandan, Namu, the hardship that it experienced up to that time had Sunjata was born, Namu. That is what we are narrating, Namu. If this had not taken place, Sunjata would not have been born, Na'amu. If Sunjata had not been born, Mandan would not have been sweet, Namu. If Mandan had not been sweet, the Mandan people would not have known themselves, Na'amu. You heard it, Namu. The buffalo began to chase the Kamalenwe, Namu. Before Abdul Karim could catch up with his elder brother, the buffalo came closer. When the buffalo caught up to him and bellowed, Namu, he dropped the bamboo stick, which instantly sprouted into a grove of bamboo. Namu. Before the buffalo could get through it, the Kamalanwe had gone distantly ahead, Naamu. When the buffalo passed the first obstacle, it began chasing them again. When it caught up with them again and bellowed, they dropped the hot charcoal, Namu. In those days, the Mandan bush had been there a long time. It had never been burned, so the bush caught on fire, Namu. When the buffalo tried to get through, it was stopped by the fire, Namu. It was forced to go back whilst they were dashing through the grass, Namu. You heard it, Naamu. When the fire subsided, the buffalo jumped into the ashes and chased them again, Namu. When it got close to them again, they were already at the lake of Donikiri, Naamu. By the time it arrived at the lake and began to bellow, Abdul Karim dropped the egg, which turned the ground into deep mud, Namu. You heard it, Naamu. The buffalo got stuck in the mud, Namu. That is what is referred to in the Kande song, Dale Komba Kamba, Namu. Kande, drinker of Big Lake water, Namu. Those who drank the Big Lake water, Namu. They did not stop to clean it, Namu. Those who clean the big lake, Namu. They did not drink its big water, Namu. You heard it, Naamu. It was Danmansa Wulanba and Danmansa Wulani, Namu, who cleaned the water of the big lake, Namu. By the time they finished with that, Naamu, water had penetrated the spindle wounds into the buffalo's intestines, Namu. When the buffalo got to that place, it fell down, Naamu. When the buffalo fell, Danmansa Wulani said to his elder brother, Hey, he said, Big brother, look behind you, Namu. The buffalo has fallen, Namu. You heard it, Naamu. When the brother looked back and saw the buffalo, he had fallen, Namu. A family lineage was created then, Naamu. When the elder brother went back, he put his foot on the buffalo's body, Naamu. He said, Ah, little brother, Namu. You have given me a name, Naamu. Ah, little brother, Namu. You were sired by Abdul Mutula Budolaye, Namu. Abdul Mutala Babatali, Namu. Abba Alibi's own son, Sedina Aliyah, Namu. It was you who were sired by Aliyah, Namu. It was to him that God gave you a sword, Naamu. Sedina Aliyah's son, Hassan al-Lonsani, Namu. You were sired by him, Namu. Hassan al-Lonsani's son is Sisi, Namu. Sisi's son is Kemo, Namu. Kemo's son is Kemomo Tene, Namu. Kamo Tene's son is Sharifu, Namu. You were sired by Sharifu, Namu. Karimi, Namu. You have given us names, Naamu. After he honored his younger brother, Namu. The younger brother said to him, Hey, big brother, Namu. If you were to be an honor singer, Namu, no one could surpass you, Namu. If you were to be a jelly, Namu, no one could surpass you, Ijembate, Namu. That was the beginning of the Jele family known as Deabate, Naamu. That became his lineage, Namu. If you hear Deabate in Mande, Namu, it was first said when the buffalo was killed in the bush, Namu. That is in the Mande language, Naamu. You heard it, Namu. After they finished killing the buffalo, Namu, they saw that the tail was laden with gold and silver, Naamu. That was when they first started cutting off the tails of dead game. Namu. When you hear that a young hunter kills an animal and cuts off its tail, Namu. This was the beginning of that custom, Naamu. Cutting off the buffalo's tail accomplished two things for them, Namu. It was laden with gold and silver and its tail hairs, Namu. The second thing was that anybody who would deny that they killed it, Namu. Since it was a buffalo, they knew that the tail could not be cut from a live one, Namu. As soon as they showed the tail, the people would know that the business was finished, Namu. Aha. Because they knew that Domo Kamisa's buffalo wraith, Namu, could only have its tail cut off if it had been finished, Naamu. That proved to Doni Kiri that the Kamalanwe had truly killed the buffalo, Namu. After finishing with the buffalo, they started beating the ceremonial drum, Namu. The 12 towns of Do, Namu. The 4 towns of Kiri, Namu. The 6 towns across the river, Namu. All of the people were expected to attend, Naamu. They all came, Namu. When the 22 towns were all present, they said, What did we say? What did we say, Namu? We said, Any hunter who kills this one, Namu, we will bring out these 3 age sets of girls, Namu, and any girl he chooses from amongst them will become his wife, Namu. They said, bring your daughters forward, Namu. If you bring out 3 age sets of daughters from 22 towns, Naamu, bring the older set first, Namu. Then the next one to those, Namu. Then the youngest set, Namu. They brought out the beautiful Konde girls who formed 3 circles, Namu. They told the boys to choose, Naamu. They said, even if you choose 10, they are your wives, Namu. Even if you choose 20, they are your wives, Namu. Even if you choose only 1, that is your wife, Namu. You have delivered us from disaster, Naamu. It is the wish of everyone to have their daughter married to these 2, Namu. When the girls were brought out, Naamu, they said to them, you the Sharifu, Namu, we do not go back on our promise, Namu. Take a look at these people. Anyone that pleases you, take her, Namu. The 2 men followed one another, Namu. They went around the circle, Namu. They went around the circle, Namu. They went around the circle, Namu. They came back to where they had started and said, where are the rest of the girls, Namu? You heard it, Naamu. The Konde ancestors said, you young men search every house, so Namu, so that no one can hide his daughter, Namu. They searched through the town and no one was found, Namu. Everybody was wishing for them to marry their daughter. You heard it, Namu. When the searchers returned, they said, there is nobody left, Namu. A bystander said, what about the bold old woman who was just killed, Namu? She said she has her father's lastborn still in the house, Namu. Somebody said, amen, Namu. Hey, can we show that one to the strangers, Naamu? You heard it, Namu. Dan Mansa Gwilani said, the exact one you are talking about, Namu. Go and get her, Naamu. She has been married to another man? They said, no. Has she been married before? They said, no, Namu. The brother said, if she is unmarried, go and get her, Namu. The people said, 5 age sets of girls have found husbands, but she has remained unmarried, Namu. They said, go and get her if she is an unmarried girl, Namu. Mado Kamisa had told them that when they went to choose her, Namu, the door of her father's house was the one facing the town's meeting ground, Namu. She had told them, when she is coming from my father's house, Namu, to go into the town meeting ground, Namu. A little black cat will come from behind her and pass in front of her, Namu. The little black cat will go from in front of her and pass behind her, Namu. If you see that happening to anyone, that is the girl I am talking about, Namu. You heard it, Naamu. When she was sent for, as she was being brought out of the house, Namu, when she got to the edge of the town meeting ground, Namu, a black cat came from behind her and passed in front of her, Namu. It went from in front of her and passed behind her, Namu. As soon as the brothers saw her, they said, this is the one we have been talking about, Namu. They heard people go, woo. They were asked, is this the one you were talking about, Namu? The brother said, yes, this is the one we have been talking about, Naamu. You heard it? She is the one who was taken and given to them, Namu. The Moor of Simbon, Naamu. The birth of Simbon and the organizing of Mandan, Namu. The person about whom it was foretold, Namu, is the one who is about to be born, Namu. We speak of Turuma'an, Namu. We speak of Kankajan, Namu. We speak of Tombonon Sitafa Dirwara, Namu. We speak of Fakole, Namu. We speak of Sumaroro, Naamu. We speak of Tambanwana Faran Kamara, Namu. But the one who organized them all, Namu, united them into one and called the place Mandan, Namu. The person who did it was Sunjata, Namu. This is how his Moor was married. When she was given to them, Namu, the young brother Dan Mansa Walani said, this is my brother's wife. Give her to him, Namu. When night fell and they went to bed, Namu, as men normally approach their brides, Namu, when the elder brother Dan Mansa Walamba got close to her, Namu, she ejected 2 porcupine quills from her chest and they stuck in him, Namu. He jumped up and fell on the ground, Namu. He spent the rest of the night sleeping on the opposite side of the room, Namu. Because of her sorcery, Naamu. Ancestor Dun Samoga Diara had said to them, Namu. He said, you the Sharifa, is this the one you want, Namu? They replied, this is the one we want, Namu. Are you sure this is the one you want, Namu? They said, this is the one we want, Namu. He said, my sister whom you killed, Namu, all the Dalilu that she had, Namu. This one's is even further powerful, Namu. But if you say that you want her, I am giving her to you, Namu. Take her with you, Naamu. If you are not compatible, Namu, bring her back so I can put her where you took her from, Namu, and I will give you another one, Namu. She has powerful Dalilu, Naamu. I don't want to contradict myself, but take a look at this group of girls, Namu. These people will wait up for you up to 3 months, Namu. If you are not compatible with my sister, Namu, come back and I'll give you one of these, Namu. I'll put her back where she came from, Namu. They said, very well, Naamu. She did not accept Danmansa Wulamba's advances, Namu. In the time when Danmansa Wulani came to him, Namu, he said, little brother, Namu, was I not the one who told you yesterday that you should kill the buffalo, Namu? He said, aha. Namu, did I not say that you are further knowledgeable than I? Namu, aha, you should marry this woman yourself. Naamu, you should accept that. Namu, that God who made it possible for you to kill the buffalo, Namu, has made me unable to take this woman. Naamu, when we leave from here, we will exchange this gold and silver. We will marry another woman who I will keep. Do not say anything to the Kande, Naamu, so they cannot say woo to us the way they did yesterday, Namu. Therefore, you take her without letting anybody here know about it, Namu. When night fell, Danmansa Wulamba was in a hurry for them to finish eating supper, Namu. He took his blanket and went out to spend the night with his friends, Namu. By then, Danmansa Wulani and Sogolan Kande were in the house, Naamu. When they went to bed, that was the one she truly did something to, Namu. Something she did not do to the elder brother, Naamu. Danmansa Wulamba had spent the night on the other side of the room. But Danmansa Wulani slept outside, Naamu. The next matin, as soon as he saw Danmansa Wulambi coming, he said, Pa, Namu. He said, big brother, Namu, I am not going to tell you anything, Namu. Let us beg to take our leave, Namu. There is no way that we can explain this, Naamu. We rejected all those beautiful Kande women, Namu. The old woman has truly caused problems for us, Namu. The old woman. Naamu. She killed the men of Mandan, but she sent us straight into decay, Namu. If we don't get another wife here, Naamu, they will say we are too proud, that we look too high. Namu, we were given a group of women to choose from. We declined them, but the one we took, Namu, we cannot keep her, Namu. Let us beg to take our leave, Naamu. We should not say that we don't want her, Namu. When we have gone, Namu, when we see a river in a flood, Namu, when we get to it, we will leave her there, Naamu. We will cross the river and go on, Namu. If she waits there long enough, she will go back, because she will not be able to cross, Namu. When the boys arrived at the river, the water was in flood, Namu. You heard it, Naamu. Danmansa Wulani said, sister-in-law, Namu. He said, wait here for us, Naamu. You can see the water yourself, Namu. We want to go upstream, Naamu. If we see any tree that has fallen across the river, Namu, we'll come to get you so we can cross together, Namu. She said, all right, Naamu. She waited for them there with her baggage, Namu. Everything was in her bundle, Namu. When they went upstream, they went further and further, Namu. They went until they saw a sebe tree that had fallen across the river. The Serufu now had their way, Naamu. They went across it, Namu. As they were crossing the river, they said, we have done the right thing, Naamu. Don't you see that she has attached herself to us, Namu? She has slowed us down, Naamu. Who would want to take her along, Namu? Hey, look at my chest, Namu. The elder brother said, you don't even know what you're talking about, Naamu. I won't even show you mine, Namu. Sorceress, Naamu. Who would want to take a sorceress and bring her to his father's house? You heard it, Namu. Whilst they were chatting, they arrived at Confera, Namu. At the outskirts of Confera, they met the Konde woman sitting and waiting ahead of them. Namu, she said to them, you the Sharifu, Namu. Is this how you behave, Namu? They said, Mama, please forgive, Naamu. When they arrived in the town, Namu, they went straight to Simbon's house, Namu. They had arrived at Confara, Namu. It was Confera that Sunjata was born. It was in Confera that Sunjata was born, Namu. We should tell you that, Naamu, at the place of Magan Confera in Confera, Namu. When they arrived there in Confera, Madan Masa Wulambi began to speak, Namu. He said, Nuru Soma, Namu. Jidan Soma, Namu. Kalabali Soma, Namu, the first sorcerer of Mandan. Namu. You Latali Kalabi, Namu. Kalabi the younger, Namu. And Kalabi the younger. Namu, and Kalabi the elder, Namu, and Mabade Kani, Namu, and Kani Simbo, Namu, and Kani Nyogo Simbo, Namu, and in Kabbalah Simbo, Namu. And Big Simbon Madi Tanyagati, Namu, and Mebalanene, Namu, and Bele, Namu, and Bele Bakon, Namu, and Farako Manko Farakonken, Namu. I swear to God, you are a true king of diviners, Na'amu. What you told us is what happened to us, Namu. We went to Doni Kiri, Namu. We killed the buffalo, Namu. The people of Doni Kiri honored us, Namu. And the woman they gave us, Na'amu, because of the way you foresaw things, Namu, and because of your forthrightness, Namu, and because of the way you help travelers, Namu, we did not accept any other woman, Namu. That is the one we have brought to you, Namu. Simbon laughed, Namu. Hey, where is the woman in question, Namu? They said, she is outside, Na'amu. Simbon got up, took his elephant tail fly whisk, and looked around, Namu. He went and saw the sorcerer sitting beside her bundle, Namu. When he saw her beside it, Na'amu, when he looked at her, he said, He, Shirufulu, O Far, Namu, take this one back, Namu, I am not refusing her, I still want her, Namu, but take her out of the town and let me prepare myself. If you bring her to my house right now, she will take my house from me, Na'amu, but you brought me a gift that I want to keep, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu, go back outside the town, Namu. They took her out of the town and waited there, Namu. Manjan Barete, Namu, who became the first Karamogo in Mande, Namu, the one who worked to find the wife who would be the more of Sunjata, Namu. Magan Kanfar gave him the 10 kola, Namu. He said, go and greet the Sharifu, Namu. Tell them to come in, Namu. He said, this is their town, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. It was Majan Barete who took the 10 marriage kola of Songola Kande, Namu, and used them to welcome the Sharifu, Namu. If you see that the Maninka carrying kola not like that, it is to welcome those who are bringing a bride, Namu. That was the first marriage kola of Mandin, Na'amu. That today that is a custom we pass on to the next generation, Na'amu. The kola was given to Manjan Barete, Namu. Magan Kanfara said, I have gotten a wife, Nam. He said, the Sharifu have brought me a wife, Namu. The prayer that you, Manjan Barete, made to me, your request has been granted, Namu. They have brought the woman, Namu, but they are still outside the town, Namu. Go and meet them, Namu. Greet them and welcome them into the town, Namu. Tell them this is their home, Namu. Manjan Barete was happy to see the strangers, Na'amu. He said, Karimi, Namu. Danmansa Buulani, Namu. I give it to you, Namu. I give it to your brother, Na'amu. For the deed that you have accomplished, Namu, from Doni Kiri up to Mandan, Na'amu. Simbon says that you are welcome, Namu, that you have freed us from the suffering, Na'amu, when your brother is suffering, Namu. As long as he has not been delivered from that suffering, Namu, you will also share part of the suffering, Na'amu. The disaster that faced the Konde at the hands of the sisters Buffalo Wrath, Namu, you have gone and succeeded in killing that buffalo, Namu, and then returned to Mandan with this beautiful woman, Namu. Simbon says he is very pleased, Namu. He says you are welcome, Namu. Hey, this is the kola to welcome you, Na'amu. He says that you should enter the town now, Namu. He says the town is yours, Na'amu. He says the honor is God's and it is yours, Namu. But he has put me in charge of you strangers, Namu. When they had been thus honored, Namu, he accompanied the strangers to town, Namu. When the Kowais were told you have your wife, Namu, they took their places behind the bride, Namu. They said, sister-in-law, get up and let us go home, Na'amu. When they lifted her up, she had a twisted foot, Na'amu. Her feet were twisted and she could not walk without raising dust, Na'amu. When they lifted her up, then, Namu, the dust went this way, the dust went that way. Namu. The first song for welcoming brides in Mandan was sung then, Namu. How did they sing this first bride escorting song? Na'amu. The sister said, walk well, Namu, bride of my brother, Na'amu. Walk well, Namu. Do not put trust in the dust, Na'amu. That became the first bride escorting song of Mandan, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. They saw that her walk could not improve, Namu, that it was beyond her power, Namu. The sister said, let us carry her, Na'amu. That is how carrying the bride originated, Namu. If you see that when the bride arrives at the outskirts of the town, Namu, the women pick up the bride and run with her, Namu. That was done because of this condition of Sogolan Kande's feet, Na'amu. The sister said, let us carry her, Na'amu. At that time, men were not considered to be the closest relatives, Na'amu. It was women who were the closest relatives, Na'amu. As the women were carrying her, they saw other women on the road, Na'amu. If those women had not shouted encouragement, they would not have arrived at their destination. They were carrying a mature woman, Na'amu. 5 age sets had found husbands, but she had not been married, Na'amu. It was a mature woman, Na'amu. The sisters then said, are you not going to see the horse? Are you not seeing the horse, Na'amu? When they said, are you not seeing the horse? The co-wives looked back and said, which horse is that, Na'amu? They said, that is the horse of Mandan, Na'amu. Before the co-wives could turn around, they were already running past them, saying, horse of Mandan, Na'amu. Whilst they were running, Ma Sogolan Kande's headscarf fell off, Na'amu, and her bald head was exposed, Na'amu. The co-wives made a new song, Na'amu. What did they say in that song of the co-wives, Na'amu? They had not known that her head was bald, Na'amu. What did they sing, Na'amu? They sang, the heron head, Na'amu. Our heron head has come this year, heron head, Na'amu. This woman's heron head has come this year, with her crest, Na'amu. This offended Sogolan Kande, Na'amu. She looked back at the women of Mandan, Na'amu, and said, are you calling me a heron head, Na'amu? Huh, Na'amu. Am I the one you are calling heron head, Na'amu? Well, I have arrived, Na'amu. Feeling angry, she was carried to her husband's door, Na'amu. The husband had been sitting in his lounge chair at the back of his room. He had prepared himself with his own dabale, Na'amu. He had taken out his sorcerer's whip and laid it at his side, Na'amu, because he knew that what was coming to him would show him her dalilu, Na'amu. If you see that when a Monday bride arrives at the door, Na'amu, the sisters will put their heads inside and then pull them back out, Na'amu. Put their heads inside and pull them back out. The third time they send the bride into her husband, Na'amu. That's how it all started, Na'amu. The first time they held the back of Sogolan's head to push her inside to her husband, Na'amu. She ejected a sorcerer's dart from her eye and tried to pierce her husband's eye, Na'amu. It went to Na'amu. You heard it, Na'amu. Magan Kanfar caught it, Na'amu. He said, Kande woman, you have brought me a present, Na'amu. This is my 7th year that I have had the meat of Mande sorcery in my teeth, Na'amu. An ordinary portion of straw will not be able to pick it from my teeth, Na'amu. Only a sorcerer's dart will do that, Na'amu. You have brought me a dart for a toothpick, Na'amu. He caught it and laid it beside him, Na'amu. He took a sorcerer's whip and lashed her on the head, Na'amu. She pulled back for the first time, Na'amu, and when she put her head in again, Na'amu, she shot out her scalding breast milk, Na'amu, trying to splash it on Simbone to blister his skin, Na'amu, to let him know that a true wind was coming, Na'amu. Simbone repelled. He said, Kande woman, you have truly brought me a gift, Na'amu. Ordinary Mande water does not clean our faces as well as warm breast milk, Na'amu. You have brought me face washing water, Na'amu. He washed his face with that and again picked up his sorcerer's whip. He lashed her on the head, Cho, Na'amu. She pulled back her head a second time, Na'amu. The third time when the women tried to push her in, Na'amu. If you see old men of Mandan carrying a staff, one with a small metal point on the end, Na'amu, it was Sogolan Kande who brought it from Doni Kiri. It belongs to the Kande, Na'amu. It was this staff that Sogolan Kande now took out, Na'amu, trying to spear Simbone in the chest, Na'amu, because she couldn't see that she was up against a true man, Na'amu. She had sent 2 things and both were repelled, Na'amu. But if this one went, it would pierce his chest, Na'amu. When this was thrown, Simbone caught it, Na'amu. He merely honored it, Na'amu. He said, we walk with the sun stick with nothing on it, Na'amu. But the Kande have sent us a sun stick wearing a hat, Na'amu. That is the staff in question, Na'amu. It was not an ordinary spear, Na'amu. It was your new bride spear, Na'amu. You heard it, Na'amu. Simbone said, we have received a protective spear, Na'amu. He laid it beside him and picked up his sorcerer's whip and lashed her, Cho, Na'amu. Sogolan had used up her sorcery, Na'amu. They pushed her into into him, Namu. When she was pushed inside to him, Na'amu, she reached for her bundle and took out her drinking ladle, Namu. The 10 coconuts that are given to the women, Na'amu. It was Sogolon Kande who first put them into water, Namu. It is the woman who is supposed to put the coconut in the water and then hand it to her husband, Namu. But many people were asking to do it, Na'amu. She was told to put them in water, Namu, instead of handing them to her husband, Namu. Sogolon Kande put them in her cup, Namu. She went and knelt in front of Magan Confera, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. She said, You Latalali Kalabi, Kalabi Doman and Kalabi Bomba, God and Mamadi Kani, God and Kani Simbon, God and Kani Nyogo Simbon, God and Kabbalah Simbon, Namu, God and Simbon, Big Simbon, Madi Tanyagati, Namu, God and Mibalinans, God and Bele and Bele Bakon, God and Ferrako Mankan Ferrakonken, Namu. If you were not amongst the husbands of the world, Namu, I would have gone to the other world unmarried, Namu. I have now come to my husband, Na'amu. He is my married husband, my husband who will take care of me, my husband by whom I will give birth, Namu. I have got to my husband, Na'amu. It is the crocodile of the stream that leads one to the crocodile of the river. I have come to Simbon, Namu. Drink, Namu. Simbon drank, Namu. He accepted the 10 kola nuts and set them down, Namu. Alone she went and sat on her husband's bed, Namu. If they had not finished with the sorcery, Namu. That is why when a new bride is brought, Namu, if you see her sitting in a chair, Namu, if she does not sit on her husband's bed, she has something on her mind, Namu. She does not want to marry this man. She has another man's name to confess, Namu. You heard it, Na'amu. It is beneficial for a new bride to want to be with her husband, Namu. When she sat on the bed, she said, The woman called me Hair on Head, Namu. I have not forgotten that, Namu. The women of Mandan had wanted to have fun, Namu. Ah, ba, Namu. Big sister, Na'amu. Jelemusu tunko manyan diwawara, Namu. Janmusoni manya, Namu. Tasisi gibademina, Namu. Maramajan tarawale, Namu. Mamadamba Magasuba, Namu. They said, Who would be jealous of such a person, Na'amu? It is better to compete with one's equal, Namu. She is bald-headed, Namu. She has a humpback, Namu. She has a weeping tear duct, Namu. Her feet are twisted, Namu. Why should we be jealous of this woman, Na'amu? Let us welcome her to begin with, Namu. Let us welcome the men of Mandan, Namu. That each of us will have a day to cook for the strangers, Namu. If you see that the Mandan bride welcoming ceremony lasts for 8 days, Namu, it is because of that, Na'amu. Each of those women chose her day to cook, killing a chicken, Namu. On the 8th day, the men of the town said, why should we just sit here be watching our women get all the recognition, Na'amu? We men must seize this day for ourselves, Namu. If the women have killed chickens, we will kill a goat, Namu. That is how the goat slaughtering began, Na'amu. That is why they refer to it as the day of killing the stranger's goat, Na'amu. When the bridal drum was played in the town circle, the celebration was at its peak, Na'amu. The celebration with the bridal drum surpassed the one of circumcision, Namu. You heard it, Namu. When they came to the town circle, all the women were there in force, Na'amu. Sangolon Kande said to her husband, Simbon, Namu, if you agree, I would like to go and see the people as they dance for the bride in the town circle, Na'amu. She said, I would like to go and see the people whilst they dance in the circle for the bride, Na'amu. Magan Kanfara said, Namu. He said, Kande woman, Namu. That might be what they do in Donikiri, the home of the Kande. But here in Mandan, women do not see the bride's dance circle, Namu. She said, I will not go in person, Na'amu. If you agree, Namu, I will stay here behind you and see them in the circle, Namu. That is how sorcery was used. Na'amu, you heard it, Namu. If you should be told, Namu, that Sunjata's Moor was pregnant for 7 years, Namu, that she did not deliver for 7 years, Namu, that when she finally born, he did not walk, Namu. It was all the result of that one night, Namu. She said, I will stay behind you, Namu, but I will go and see them, Namu. Simbon said, if you will not go there in person, Namu. You and I are finished with what we're doing. Namu, there is no sorcery you can show me that will be worse than that which you started. Na'amu, if you keep your body here but can still see them, I will not say no. Namu, she said, very well. Namu, you heard it? Na'amu. She put her left hand on her husband. Namu, she was lying behind him on the bed. Na'am. She stretched her right arm. Na'amu. She stretched her right hand. Namu. It passed through the straw of the roof. Namu. She stretched her arm. Namu. She stretched her hand to reach the dance circle. Namu. She laid her hand up in the Dubalen tree. Namu. She pointed 2 fingers down. Namu. Light was coming out of them. Na'amu. The circle was suddenly full of light. Wah. Namu. And she was still lying behind her husband. Namu. From behind her husband she said, hey, many people know how to do it. Namu. She said, Junmo Sani Manyan truly knows how to dance. Namu. Hey, Tunkon Manya Dewawar has a nice voice. Na'amu. Hey, Tasisi Gibandemina knows how to dance. Namu. Hey, Maramajan Tarawale is dancing. Nam. Hey, Flaba Nabi Heya, she knows. Namu. Whilst they were dancing, Na'amu, Junmo Sani Manyan raised her head. She saw that the inner circle was all lit up. Na'amu. But there were no torches. Namu. When she saw it was lit up, Namu, she looked up and saw the 2 fingers hanging down. Namu. They were shedding light like a pressure lamp. Na'amu. She said, big sister Sansu Barete. Na'amu. My big sister Maramajan Tarawale. Namu. Lift up your eyes. Namu. This is the one about whom we said, Na'amu, that we would not need to be jealous of her. Namu. This is a sprouting tree, and when it grows to extend its branches, it will take Mandan away from us. Namu. Here, the new bride is lying behind her husband, but she is watching us with her 2 fingers. Look, Namu. Do you see the 2 fingers with eyes? Na'amu. Mande women, if you are true women, Namu, you had better get ready. Namu, this one must not be successful here. Na'amu. You heard it? Nam. They suddenly stopped the wedding dance. Namu. All the women felt chilled. Na'amu. They all went home. Namu. They all dipped their hands into their dalilu. Na'amu. When Sogolon came to Magan Kanfera, she was still a virgin. Namu. After 3 days, her bloody virgin cloth was taken out. Namu. The following month, she became pregnant with Sunjata. Na'amu. That is how Sunjata was conceived. Namu. You heard it? Na'amu. The co-wife said, we will not be able to do anything against this woman. Na'amu. She had gone to her husband almost at the end of the lunar month. Namu. For the rest of the month, she did not see the other moon. Namu. She had conceived. Namu. When the women of Mandan heard this, Na'amu, they went outside the town and held a meeting under a baobab tree. Na'amu. They said, getting pregnant is one thing, delivering is another. Na'amu. They said, making miscarriage medicine. Namu. Anything that will spoil the belly once it touches it. Na. Everyone must prepare her own. Namu. Sogolon Kande also had very powerful dalilu. Na'amu. When the belly wanted to expand, Namu, they would come and say, younger sister, Namu. They would say, this is the medicine for pregnant women here in Mandan. Namu. Ah, we wanted to get a child, Namu, with all of us women here, Namu, but we have not had any children, Namu. Therefore, if one person should bring luck to our husband, hey, Namu, you are the one bearing it, but it is a child for all of us, Namu. Hey, Mama, dilute this medicine in water and drink it, Namu. Hey, the Kande woman would dilute that medicine in water and drink it, Na'amu. She would drink it, Namu. After drinking it, the belly would shrink, Namu. It would shrink away. J, Na'amu. You heard it, Namu. This went on for 7 years. When the 7th year arrived, Namu, Sogolon Kande left the town. Namu, she prayed to God. Na'amu, she said, Memari. Namu, that is enough. Namu, the Mande people have done enough. Na'amu, but I have come to you, God. Namu, I am only a stranger here. Nam, those who brought me. Na'amu, this is beyond their power to help. Namu. After the brothers had given Sogolon to Magan Kanfera, he took 2 of his daughters. Namu, his daughter known as Nana Triban. Namu, the one who had the same mother as Dankara Tuman. Namu, he took that Nana Triban. Namu, and Tinan Bajan, daughter of his younger brother. Namu, he put the 2 together. Namu, he gave them to Danmansa Wulani and Danmansa Wulanba. Namu. You heard it, Naamu. Nana Tiban Namu. It was she who gave birth to Tiroma'an Naamu. Tenan Banja Namu. It was she who gave birth to Kankejan Namu. You heard it, Naamu. Danmansa Wulani and Danmansa Wulanbi's children. Tiroma'an and Kankejan Naamu. You heard it, those are their children, Naamu. Tiroma'an and Kinkajan's fars. Namu. Danmasa Wulani and Danmasa Wulamba. Namu. It was they who killed the buffalo. Naamu. That man, Sunjata, Namu. God made him into a person, Namu. Made him into a human fetus, and he was born, Namu. After this son was born, Namu, when the Monday women were told about it, Namu, they gathered together again under the Monday baobab tree, Namu. They said, it is one thing to give birth to a son, Namu, and another thing for him to survive, Namu. What did they do again, Namu? Through sorcery they stretched the tendons of his 2 feet, Namu. They confined him to the ground, Naamu. You heard it, Namu. His lameness forced him to remain on the ground, Naamu. 1 year, Namu. 2 years, Naamu. 3 years, Namu. 4 years, Namu. 5 years, Namu. 6 years, Namu. The 7th year, Namu. The Kowais provoked Sogalon to anger, Namu. One day, Naamu. Because we are walking on a straight path, Namu. We cannot wander from one side to the other, Namu. We have to take the main road, Namu. So we will know how Mandan was built, Namu. You heard it, Naamu. In the 7th year there came a day, Naamu, when Maramajan Tarawale went and picked some baobab leaves, Namu, from the same baobab tree that was already mentioned, Naamu. Whilst on her way back, Ma Sogalan Wolen Kande said, Naamu. She said, Big sister Maramajan Tarawale, Naamu, won't you give me a few of your baobab leaves, Namu? The house in which Ma'an Sunjata was lodged, Naamu. This was said under its eaves, Namu. Maramajan Tarawale said, Ah, Naamu. She said, Younger sister, Namu, who are you who are the owner of sons, Namu? If you ask us for baobab leaves, what are we supposed to do, Naamu? Your lame son is sitting right there inside the house, Namu. You are alone in your search for baobab leaves. Why don't you tell your son to get up and walk, Naamu? Ma'an Sogalan Wolen Kande said, Ah, that is not what I meant, Namu. I thought I could depend on sisterhood, Namu. But I did not know you were upset because I had this child, Namu. They didn't know Sunjata was listening to them, Naamu. After that was said, Namu. When Ma Sogalan Kande was passing by, Namu, Sunjata said, More, Namu, more, Naamu. She did not answer because she knew he had overheard them, Naamu. He said, More, what are they saying, Namu? She said, Ah, forget about that talk, Namu. He said, Ah, how can I ignore that? He said, More, I will walk today, Naamu. You heard it, Naamu. He said, What they are talking about, Naamu. That you have a lame person in the house, Naamu. That you should beg them for a baobab leaf, Namu. He said, I will walk today, Naamu. He said, Go and get my father's sunsun staff, Namu, and bring it to me, Namu. He said, I will walk today, Naamu. Ma Sagolan Kande went and got the sunsun staff, Naamu. She brought it to Simbon, Naamu. When the sunsun staff was thrust firmly into the ground, Namu. When he attempted to stand holding the staff, Naamu, the sunsun staff broke, Namu. He said to her, Oh, more, Namu. Go and bring my far's iron staff, Namu. He said, They say you have a lame son in the house, Naamu, but you gave birth to a true son, Naamu. Nothing happens before its time, Namu. Go and bring my far's iron staff, Naamu. She went for the iron staff, but he also broke that, Namu. He said, "Go and tell my father's blacksmith, Namu. Let him forge an iron staff so I can walk." Na'amu. You heard it? Nam. The blacksmith carried 1 load of iron to the bellows. Namu. Forged it and made it into an iron staff. Namu. When it was thrust into the ground. Namu. When he attempted to stand, the staff bent. Namu. Where is that iron staff today? Na'amu. It is in Narayana. Nam. The staff of Sunjata. Na'amu. He broke both of his father's staffs. Namu. The one that was forged for him is in Narayana. Namu. The one that was bent became a bow. Na'amu. Therefore, when he stood, Namu, he lifted 1 foot. Na'amu. Then he lifted the other foot. Namu. Then the other foot. Namu. You heard it? Na'amu. Then his more said, "Simban has walked." Na'amu. The Jale sang this in a song. Namu. He has walked. Namu. Jata has walked. Namu. Has walked. Namu. Jata has walked. Namu. It was rivalry that caused Jata to walk. Namu. Because of the humiliation to his more. Namu. That is why when I hear people saying they do not love their more, Na'amu, they dismiss their more as oof. Namu. Hey Jili Mori. Na'amu. The far is everybody's, the more is personal. Namu. When you stand in the crowd, Na'amu, people do not talk about your far. Namu. It is your more they will talk about. Na'amu. After that, God gave him feet. Namu. He went into the house and took his bow. Namu. Some people say he made the iron staff into his bow. Namu. But don't repeat that. Namu. His far's quiver and bow were there. Na'amu. He took the quiver and bow and went out of the town. Na'amu. When he got there, he embraced a baobab tree. Namu. He shook it. Namu. He shook it. Namu. He uprooted it. Namu. And then he put it on his shoulder. Namu. He brought it into his Moor's yard. Na'amu. He said, "Now everyone will come here for baobab leaves." Namu. Ah, Sogolon Kande. Namu. When things are hard for you, Namu, everyone will abuse you. Namu. When things are beneficial for you, Namu, people will say, "We knew this would happen for you." Na'amu. May God help us to persevere. Amina. Then when the Mande women came, they said, "Namu. Ah, Sogolon Kande. Na'amu. We knew this would happen for you. Namu. The sacrifice that was made by everybody. Namu. It has been answered through you. Na'amu. That was what they said as they picked the baobab leaves. Namu. Before the time that Solon Ma'an could walk, Namu, his younger brother Solon Jamaru had been born. Namu. Whilst Solon Ma'an was still on the ground, Namu, Mandain Bori was born. Namu. After Solon Ma'an walked, Namu, Solon Kolokan was born. Namu. Sogolan stopped after 4 births. Alhamdulillah, Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahim. Allahu Akbar. Dao ke dao fei chong dao ming ke ming fei chong ming ja Rastafari. Deus nos de quies in cele santo vecito nomen tuum vahegusam. Baruch ata Elohim Eloheinu melech haolam asher kasanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'sok b'rvai Torah. Amen. Baruch ata Elohim Eloheinu melech haolam barei periyagafen. Amen. Kyrie eleison, sevomas tu sabrigatehi, sabe sata bavontu sukidata. Vagabia. Aquaba, upenda namani, fikiri nesalami, chinda dam per me, libov me, womajiga. Umbuta shubana fekitka. Sheshem, Kamasunida, Domo Arigato, Pilama Yela Waka Toka Toka Dokushin Gun Gomanagan. God, we thank you for all that you bless us. Ata Jamia Yatafanari. Madom, Ahom, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Amen. Respect and honor to His Majesty Haile Selassie I. Respect and honor to Her Majesty Wazar Manin. All thanks and praise to the Most High Elohim Jah. Blessed love and peace. Rastafari.